for him.
Like,
See, that guy's got
that one right up there. That's my guy.
Are you talking about the Lord and Savior?
Yes, our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He's right above me.
I'm like, okay, I don't know. We're bringing religion into this.
So this is how we find out that Memoris is keeping Jesus trapped in his attic.
Yeah, he's actually in a bottle of Memoris's body.
Save Jesus! It's too warm in here. I hate it.
It's too warm in here. I hate it.
Take a few degrees and the room is still freezing.
I'm always gonna be complaining about the warmth until it drops under a certain.
I believe you're usually always complaining, Kiki.
That's not true. It's just too hot in here. I never
Isn't that a
complain when
complaint?
it's too cold.
Complains immediately.
You know, I wear shorts until it gets to the point where I live, where we have a bucket of water that fills up whenever it rains. If it freezes over, that's when I switch to pants. Until then, I stick to shorts.
There's a slight breeze, and I'm wrapping in a blanket.
Yeah, I don't care about the cold because I can just put on more clothes. But the
I don't like
heat,
it when it gets hot.
You can only take off so much.
Yeah. See, yeah.
Before it becomes illegal.
I'm complaining because I can only take off so much.
What she said. The one to my what would be on here? What would it be to my right? Yeah, it'd be to my right.
Left.
My left on the screen to my right.
Yes.
Don't make me think about that. That's too much. That's too much for my brain.
I was like, to this way. Nope, that's not the right one.
It's funny because, Brash, your character is a cat and you always have yarn. So it's like...
Oh my gosh. The worst thing is my roommate has a cat. And that project I showed you earlier, I went to the bathroom, came back in, and she was laying on it. And I was like, no, that's for someone allergic to cats.
Oh shit! No, you have to buy a new one.
I was like, I'm gonna have to figure out how to wash that really quick because that was expensive.
Yeah. Wait, you know what? You can turn this off and I'll change. Then I can stop complaining.
You know we're streaming right now.
Oh, whatever.
We are live.
And she's wearing shorts.
Yeah.
Because she's hot-blooded.
He was cold-blooded. Isn't she an alien?
Worst part is she's from Southern California.
How's that the worst part?
Because she should be used to the heat.
We're both like, looked up what...
What was that noise, if you don't mind me asking? Because I
That
just
was
hear...
I'm pretty sure that was a motorcycle.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was like, just someone...
Thought you were vacuuming something.
Elephant?
The only thing you'll hear is the frat
Hey, I
boys
no
that live on
longer
my
hear
strips.
the
Trucks driving through.
I no longer hear the fire alert.
Oh, yeah.
He got too mad at it. He knocked it out.
I broke it.
Called it.
You fixed it. You fixed the problem. Maybe not the way you should have, but you fixed it.
Yep. Ripped that shit right out the wall.
Nice.
It really made the maintenance guys come over. I told them, it was like, hey guys, so I came home and my fire alarm was ripped out of the wall. They're like, what?
I don't know. It was
Dog
like that
must
when
have
I got
done
home.
No, someone broke in and stole your fire alarm.
It's like my neighbor was getting too pissed off from the chirping.
Somebody that watched the Twitch stream got so annoyed hearing it that they broke into your house.
Hey, I do choose Twitch streams a reach. It makes sense. A reach.
Oh, yeah. I'd be
reach?
going insane, too, if I hear that chirp.
Yeah, I hate that.
You know, after a while where it's like background noise and you stop hearing shit, I only started hearing it again after people started pointing it out, and it pissed me off.
Because you got so
Oh.
used to it.
Yeah.
That just reminds me, because where I work, there's a water jet company next door. So you hear it, like, firing up and stuff. And then it's like, I would always hear it, and then I told my coworker, and he's like, I completely zoned that out until you had brought that up. Thanks. And I was like, you're welcome.
I'm here to help.
That happened at my old apartment. Every time the AC would kick in, something would start rattling. just like slightly, but you just hear like da-da-da-da-da-da as it was starting up, and then it would get kind of quiet, like still where you could hear it, but like I zoned it out. And then every time people came over, what's rattling in your attic? Oh, that's there. I forgot about it.
That's right.
Lesson: never invite people over. Just
They'll
don't
point out
do it.
everything you don't notice.
Just
Stockholm
don't do
syndrome.
it.
You just fall in love with that sound.
Oh, and then you need it, and you
Yeah.
can't sleep without it.
Yeah, then it stops and like, oh my
Oh,
god,
the
what's wrong?
silence!
What's wrong?
I did have that because my dad used to have a really old CPAP, and my bedroom used to be over theirs, and so I got used to hearing this of it starting up and running. That when the doctor finally forced him to upgrade, and it went quiet, and I was like, I'll be laying there going, I don't hear like the airplane taking off to put me to sleep.
Well, was it a diesel generator that he was using?
He got the CPAP the year before I was born, so like 96. And he replaced it in 2014. It was old. He should not have had it that long.
Look at how young y'all are. Me and Colin, the grandparents over here, man. We're not streaming right now, are we? Oh,
It's live, but okay.
It's been live for like what, 5 minutes now?
Yeah.
About.
It's been going.
Yeah, 6, almost 7 minutes.
Just been having this great conversation is all.
Yes.
I just like the shenanigans of the green room. Helps everybody understand just how nightmarish my job really is.
Anything we can do for you, Jason.
Yes, I hear that.
Happy to help.
often, And
It
yep,
was-
yep.
still a Halloween spirit, so
Killing me, Smalls.
It's
Killing
okay.
me.
I'm the one keeping the party alive, and you're trying to kill them actively. So
Well, I don't know if I'm actively trying to kill them. I'm merely putting pieces on the board that they keep running into. I think it's a separate narrative.
wait.
See, and he just can't let me die.
Is Memorous? Are you a cleric?
No, I just have one healing spell. That's it.
Are you a paladin or a wizard?
No.
Where are you? Not to be racist or anything, but
What?
You're so classist. Come on now, you can't assume my class. No, I am a bard rogue.
ooh, okay, nice.
That is one of the reasons some of my skills have like +9 to them.
I love
I'm a
bards.
doctor. That's it.
Bards are fun.
I'll talk about what type of doctor I am.
You don't want to go to that. You don't want to go to that topic.
No.
Hot topic.
Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Yeah, we made it halfway through the week, and if you're hanging out with us tonight, it means two things. One, there's nothing else to watch, and I appreciate that. Two, you can't wait to see what a barrel full of cats looks like, and this is it, pretty much right here.
There's one of us.
No, hey, thanks for joining us tonight, Wednesday night, for the Descendants. We are, I believe we're on our 11th session tonight, second for our newcomers, second full session. We will be doing the recap shortly, but as usual, per usual, everything you need to know about us is down below in the About Us link. Come join our Discord. Follow us. It helps us with the algorithm. If you can afford to subscribe, please do, or use the Prime subscribe. We have shows on Monday. We have 2 shows on Tuesday. Wednesday, the Descendants tonight. We have our one-shot coming up tomorrow, which is the Monster Hunters Guild. It will be a level 10 one-shot tomorrow. We also have Age of Arcanum on Fridays. We have Debtor's Gambit on Sundays. And we have a new in-studio game kicking off this Sunday between 5 and 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Debtor's Gambit will be coming to you 1 to 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So, with that, let's go ahead and do the recap and talk about the crazy shit that these folks got into. The team, after gathering information in regards to Slackjaw, the hatchery, acquiring notes, as well as equipment after escaping from the town of Denning, were nearly killed by what looked to be drow assassins, working possibly within concert with either the armed forces of the Republic of Texas or perhaps even the Mexican armed forces, as these were similar drow that Calamix had recognized once before that were in the service of Congressman Pancho Villa. But the team successfully escaped to the town of Stanton. Unfortunately, once they arrived to the town of Stanton, they began to realize that there was, well, something else that happened here. The town laid in waste. Many fires were brewing. It looked like some kind of attack, and they could see off in the distance something making its way with small amounts of explosives dropping from it as it left on the horizon. However, they did discover two survivors. They found Memoris and Brash Rhythm, who had both been brought to this town for their individual needs or concerns for whatever reason they came to this town. They were rescued, and the fallen victims of whatever attack took place here actually rose up, and they behaved very similar to the ones in Thinville, only they seemed to be larger, more powerful, and kind of augmented, as well as having a lot more resistance to some of the abilities that our team had already kind of utilized when dealing with these individuals. The team met, defeated the creatures, rescued Memoris and Brash, or in some cases maybe Brash and Memoris did a little rescuing of their own, said goodbye to both Caldove and Random Ward, who decided to stay behind in Stanton in an effort to possibly help it recover and aid those that were injured in the attack. The team also left behind the young dragon as well. The young dragon being left behind, as well as Calmex taking the opportunity to offload a couple freeloader hippie goblins who were spending most of their time getting high and not doing much of anything else, decided to offload the two goblins as well. The team then boarded the flying dirigible and are now making their way towards, well, they gained altitude. Calamux took some time to do some healing and get those that survived the encounter an opportunity to recover rather quickly. And they now have access to both a map and an understanding of a possible direction. However, they no longer have a trained pilot for the dirigible. They suddenly came to this realization at about 1,000 feet up in the air as the automatic pilot system was engaged and allowing the ship to maintain its current wind speed and velocity, as well as its current heading, which seems to be mostly to a southwest direction. I believe in the cockpit was Memoris, Calamix, and McAllen, all discussing possibly what to do next. Kiki Lee and Brash Rhythm, I think, were back of the dirigible. If it wasn't already an open cabinet, I'm sure it already is. Kiki Lee taking some time to download information from the network, as well as to make some current inquiries. And with that, let's go ahead. Ooh, my picture. I should fix that. I forgot that was set up differently from my pay-to-play table. And I magically rise from the surface of the ground.
Like a phoenix.
Like a phoenix. All right. You guys are currently aloft at 1,000 feet in the air. You're hovering somewhere over Lincoln County. You have left the area of Stanton, which is right there in the lower right-hand corner. There was discussions about possibly traveling to Hayward. The notes and information that you've also acquired at this point, you have a general understanding of where the hatchery might be as well. The possibility that somewhere in the general location of the Mesa Range, north of Hayward, could also be where the hatchery is located. This is mostly information that was gleaned by Random Ward, Kiki Lee's network access, as well as Calamex's study of the material and equipment that was discovered in the town of Denning. What would you guys like to do?
First, I'd like to play with the controls.
I was gonna say I'm gonna study the controls.
No.
Remember, just watching
I'm
both
a
of them,
doctor.
expecting
I
that
have-
at least one of them would know how to pilot this thing. So he's just like, okay, I'm just going to learn from them.
I have technically flown it before.
Did you fly with the autopilot on?
No.
I mean, Calamex
flew-
can technically fly.
I know,
but I'm
I
not
did enjoy flying
pilot.
it after Random Ward got burritos, and he was focused on the burritos. So
I mean, I can't.
But if you guys want to play with it,
Yeah.
go ahead. But while they do play with it, I want to download information on how this works, 'cause it's probably ancient technology.
So I'm gonna study the instrumentation and the controls and try and glean, more or less how they interact with each other, like things to keep an eye on when maneuvering, such
I'm
as
just
like
gonna start
altitude and pitch
maneuvering,
and stuff like that.
just to see how things move.
And I'm gonna
give me-
investigate things when he's doing that.
Okay, so McAllen, give me investigation check. Calamex, give me sleight of hand.
Oh,
Kiki, you're currently communicating with the network, trying to download as much information as you can. Remember, as you're watching all this kind of play out around you, go ahead and give me perception check, please.
– 16 for perception.
16. Okay. McAllen,
13.
13. Calamex,
24.
24.
I like playing with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know much about airplanes per se. I mean, they do exist at this point. Most of them are very rudimentary, kind of like basic structures. Some have become a little bit more advanced. There's definitely a stick or yoke system here, so you're able to shift the stick left, and you can feel the dirigible kind of swing left, but not bank left. You kind of nudge the stick right, it kind of swings the dirigible right. You get the feeling that while planes respond on an axis, a Y and X axis that makes sense to the vehicle, the dirigible merely responds in very simple lateral terms, either up and down or side to side. It doesn't technically have the ability to bank or swerve. It's a very simple machine that's run by magically augmented engines, but for the most part, it's a challenge. But you kind of get the gist of that. You begin to also realize there's pedals underneath the main navigational board. McAllen, looking at the instrument, you notice there's a series of gauges that kind of either flare up and light up, and needles that kind of change whenever Calamex is kind of steering left or right. Kiki, you feel the network kind of integrate with you, and it immediately... sorry, mistress. We cannot find any historical records on such a craft as you are currently flying. These type of records were purged in year 10-22544, as the possibility of any surviving relics that match these engineering diagrams was deemed improbable and unlikely.
Ah, well, now you know. It still exists on Earth. Make a note in our records that to study this contraption and
Can I play with the pedals? What do the pedals do?
There's a left pedal and a right pedal.
You always go right. Press the right pedal.
Press the right pedal, you feel the ship begin to swing right more extremely. Not bank, but merely swing. You then press left to correct it, and then you realize that the pedals help with the steering, whereas the stick is more of a gradual adjustment of both elevation, either declination or acceleration upward. There is a throttle to your right where you pull it back or forward. Forward seems to make the engines faster. Back seems to slow down the engines. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check as you begin to try to use the combination of the controls.
Okay. 22.
22. You get the feeling that pushing the stick forward while hitting the right pedal, you begin to cruise downward. Pushing the left pedal and pulling the stick back, you kind of cruise upward and slightly to the left. The real difficulty here is currently you're in calm weather. If you were to find yourself in difficult winds, it could be a lot more challenging, kind of with the overcorrection and undercorrection of your steering and your directional. But you get the feeling that practice, but the overall mechanics and watching Macallan kind of keep an eye on the board and between, and I will say, Memoris, you're kind of almost absorbing into a single stream of memory the idea of what they're doing, so that you have a pretty good idea. The overall mechanics seem simple. However, it's also really good weather right now. There's nothing really challenging the vessel.
Okay. I want to kind of tell Calamex to try individual movements or individual controls while paying attention to the gauges to glean what each individual one is kind of indicating.
And as part of that complement of investigation, keeping an eye on things, you realize that when he yokes up and down, there's something called an altimeter off to the right. When he turns left or right, there's a compass that kind of keeps bearing to wherever direction that he goes. Whenever he throttles back or throttles forward, there's a green, yellow, red engagement light that kind of throttles up and down. You get the feeling that the combination of everything that you're seeing here is the more proficient and the better you get at this flying thing, at this navigational thing, you begin to realize that, you know, becoming a pilot is possible. But once again, you know, all three of you, Memoris and, you know, not having practical knowledge, Calamex is now currently his huge form, his huge dragonborn form, is like sitting in the pilot seat, trying his best. And the pilot seat isn't exactly tempered for Calamex's size. It's kind of more tempered for Memoris or Kiki's size. A little bit more narrow. It's a tighter fit. You've got to kind of sit in this cockpit section where the navigational panel, the throttles, and all the controls are. And just when you think you've got it down, Macallan, you kind of look above where Calamex is sitting, and there are a series of pull levers everywhere. There's another navigational panel up above where these pull levers are, and it's like a whole new section of the navigational system that you just weren't aware of.
Fun. So does this panel up there actually have any kind of map references or anything like that?
Give me a perception check really quick.
Ugh. It's a 10. These dice
Yeah,
are
most
terrible.
of the reference material and information that you're reading from the above panel with the lever pull system seems to have something more to do with maintenance of the ship than actual flying activity of the ship.
Okay. Do we have a physical map with us?
Yeah, you
We
do.
do.
You'd gathered a whole buttload of material from the Denning smuggler's den.
Okay. So I'm gonna pull out the map, look at the compass, and figure out to the best of my ability where Stanton is in relation to Hayward, and try and set a bearing for Calamex to try and navigate us to.
Okay. Give me survival with advantage because you do have the map, the compass, and some extra material to kind of help guide you towards the understanding of where you are.
Finally. Natural 20.
What?
That's what we like to fucking see.
You're currently 12 miles west of Stanton. Hayward is approximately 82 miles to your southwest. The Mesa Range, where you think the hatchery might be located, is roughly 106 miles to your northwest.
Okay, I'm gonna set a bearing and tell him to navigate to Hayward.
Okay.
So, where are we going?
Hayward.
Why?
To get contact information from the agency on our new friends and if they're trustworthy.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah.
I won't tell them. Maybe only the kitty, though.
Well, you don't know this information. This is
No, I'm
above the
asking.
table.
I'm Kiki's asking.
Oh,
I'm not.
I don't even think you're in the same room with us.
No, I went over to get information on this stuff. I was trying to download information.
Okay.
So you want to start downloading what Calamex is doing as well as what McKellen's doing?
Everything that's going on and anything that has to do with how this contraption works, especially because now that I know that records of it have been expunged. Also to take note that, hey, people on Earth use this. It's still,
Okay.
.
Fair enough. As long as you're within the cockpit range and within 30 feet of the activity going around you, you can feel that the eye is recording in detail everything that's going on around you. And then you hear the network kind of in your head. Mistress, why are we recording this piece of junk?
Because it's an important vehicle
Historical artifact.
that people use to travel by air because they can't float like we do.
I understand, but you do realize, of course, the mandate has always been to protect the observer first. I don't think we want to let the council know that you participated in flying in such a vehicle, do we, Mistress? They may
Because
see
they
that as a
think
great risk and recall you.
Is there any way
I
to
do have to
prove that-
timestamp the recording before I upload it to the central hub.
I think that our people need to know how humans and people on Terra are getting around. It's still very important information.
Will do, Mistress. I will simply, as you say, modify the timestamp then.
Yes, and assure them that I am keeping safe because if I die, my mission is over.
Yes, Mistress, because Protocol 66412 will be initiated immediately upon your death.
No protocol 6612. No, we don't need that.
That is standard operating procedure of the council.
I have everything
Once the observing
under
agent has been
control.
declared dead, then we initiate the purge and annihilation of the location that the observing agent was located on to make sure that the council leaves no trace behind.
That won't be necessary. Oh shit.
I don't make those decisions, Mistress. That's locked into the programming and understanding of the hardwiring of the system.
I think we're good. Don't worry.
There's almost like this buzzing sound of if a network could roll its eyes, it just did.
Okay. Is Ragnar hearing all this? Is he like, what the fuck? Like.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ragnar just kind of like exhales. Purge. Does that mean what I think it means?
Maybe.
But don't you lie to me. I can see inside your brain.
Oh, that's true.
So if something happens to me, I go back to where I came from, but if something happens to you, the whole planet gets wiped out? Is that how that works? Well, the fact that you don't know terrifies me even more.
Yeah, I try not to really think about that part.
Does the Unity Council know this? Have you made them aware of?
Don't they know everything?
I don't know if that's how it works, Kiki.
Well, I do know that they did tell me, hey, we know who you are. We know what you are, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I guess you know everything.
Well, okay. And you just gotta hear a huff sound and something murmuring to itself.
If you're worried, Ragnar, why don't you help me out a little bit more, huh? That one time you, did that cool thing and...
What? You know, sometimes things just happen because we're bound. I can't always control them. I try, but...
Put in a little bit effort, okay? Just a little bit.
Yes, because the sentient memory of a long-dead form such as me living inside your head isn't effort enough.
Well, you know, there's no limit to the effort. There's always room for growth, Ragnar. You, of all people, should know this.
Aye, but I'm not a people anymore, am I? I'm a memory. I'm a fragment of what I once was.
You used to be a person, okay? Don't argue with me.
I don't... Can't even grow a fucking beard anymore.
I'm sorry.
Stop talking to me. Learn how to fly this thing so we don't die. I don't want to see the
Okay.
whole planet go up into a fireball because you
Well,
don't know
I'm
how to fly
taking into
a
account
fucking
what
ship.
I'm watching Calamex try playing with the controls, and I'm taking into account everything into my eyeball over here that goes and remembering how everything goes, and it's all being pieced together.
Wait, does your eyeball sound like a dot matrix printer? Is that how far
In my
advanced
head,
your
it
species
goes
is?
in my head, but other people don't hear it.
Mistress, please stop using those tropey dot matrix sound effects. The network is pursuing and completing its course appropriately. It'll be done in 2 to 3 minutes. We'll have a summary and a synopsis of how to fly this machine within the next 10 minutes, I assure you.
Awesome. 10 minutes. Perfect.
So, while everyone is to some degree distracted, Kiki talking in her head the annihilation, possible annihilation of the planet, and McCollin and Calamex working on how to fly the ship. Could I possibly find a way to kind of sneak out of this cockpit and doing a little exploring of this aircraft?
I don't think sneaking out is necessarily required. I mean, you can merely just kind of wander about the aircraft. There's no armed guard or discernible concern about you being able to wander the ship.
That works for me.
So go ahead and give me investigation.
I'm gonna be
wander. Okay.
Cool. And because there is magic, I would like to use detect magic to kind of see if there's any magical components to the ship or any magical items that I could so find.
Fair enough. What'd you get for your roll?
That will be a 15.
15. The first tier of the dirigible seems to be where the common quarters, the med bay, and some basic storage. The second tier of the dirigible appears to be an observation platform, the ability to walk up to the platform, look down, and be able to clearly see in all directions. There are two very kind of like loud rotary systems, one on either side of the ship, that are glowing with a blue kind of whitish glow of enchantment magic. You can also see magical integrations of wiring and other metals wrapped about where the stanchions of the propeller systems are located, and they kind of course into the bottom section of the dirigible, where you can see a massive glowing enchantment-like attachment to it. The dirigible section itself is a heavy metal kind of skin and aluminum netting that's kind of bound tightly. The ship is maybe roughly 100 feet long, 20 feet in height, maybe 30 feet in width. It's pretty sizable. I mean, it could easily crew up to 10 to 12 people. It's what you find in the storage area that seems odd. There are a series of partially opened crates, maybe 30 or 40 of them of various sizes. There's stacks of documentation kind of lingering on the floor. And there's bits and kind of pieces of metal contraptions that look like they could be either assembled or attached to something. Give me an Arcana check really quick.
Okay.
If Brash has been wandering around this whole time, would she have found this stuff as well? Just not as
I
detailed?
would say that, I would say it with as inquisitive as you are, you're now leaning in the entryway to the storage compartment and kind of watching as Memoris is kind of examining these crates.
What is it?
21.
It seems to be magically
One moment, Brash.
fastened metallurgy that is designed to adhere or attach to organic material.
Why is he touching my stuff? Why are you touching? Don't touch.
Like, is this similar
You're
to the
piloting
item,
the ship.
to, like,
You have
the,
no idea where Memoris has gone.
I have the itching feeling that someone's touching
Yeah,
my
you
stuff.
have an itching feeling. Yeah.
Is it
Hey,
similar to
Memoris,
what McCallum was wearing?
Memoris,
Like,
try
I didn't see that.
reconnecting. Your connection's a little wonky.
Oh man.
Also, quick clerical question from the storyteller's standpoint. Have I gotten larger as a human, or am I just draconic now? Is that a thing?
I mean,
I was
you've always
wondering
been
about
large.
Yeah, I've always been large, like
Okay.
above like linebacker large, but like
Are you
There-
supposed to continuously keep growing?
yeah.
But I mean, between Kiki and McKellen's perspective and understanding of you,
We already know.
they do remember what had occurred at Thinville. They know you're capable of more than what you currently look like.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to quite organize that thought in their mind. And you've already had to deal with the fact that there are parts of your skin that have now been stripped away, showing little metallic integrations of your true form kind of popping through while you continuously reestablish the organic putty to try to repair wherever the skin covering currently isn't. So there's enough suspicions of what they think you are. There's just no real proof in their own minds.
Other
But
than
you are the
what
largest of
I
the
s-
party. I mean,
what I
I mean, even McCallan being a furbog, you give McCallan a pretty good, decent run for his money in regards to size. More of a width than a height.
Exactly. So in Thinville, you were thinner, and now you're thicker.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
right, Trogdor. We know your secret. Trogdor was a man.
How's that
or
now?
Maybe a dragon man.
Is that
Maybe
better?
just a dragon.
It's
That's
a little
way
better.
better.
Yep.
Members.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just
My
asking
internet
because, like,
connection
you
is
said
not
my
good.
large dragon-born form. I was just like, did like my skin fall off? I don't understand.
Like half your face fall off. It's like
Exactly.
a
I was just
dragon.
like, I'm
Half dragon.
confused.
You have dragon arms and a human head.
You have like
Right?
Yeah.
claws.
You have these big, giant
Big.
dragon arms that you walk around like this, Kiki, all the time. Hey, Kiki, what are you doing? What are you doing, Kiki?
Oh, what's over there?
So, Memoris, as far as
He
you
looks
can
so
tell,
serious right now.
you
Abuse. Stop abuse.
that's his pretend my camera froze look, so they'll stop making fun of me.
Oh yeah. The eyes are still moving. Ah!
For you, Memoris, you and Brash are now staring at arcanic metals that have been augmented and formed with the intent of being fashioned and assembled onto organic material.
I don't think she'd know that right off the bat. You'd probably have to tell her.
And is this similar to what McAllen had as legs?
No, this is very dissimilar. This is something totally different.
Okay, interesting. And I'm assuming it is magical, or is it?
Some of it is glowing, some of it is not. Some appears to be parts that fit parts together. Some of it seem to be clearly enchanted with some form of arcanic kind of magics.
Interesting.
And more specifically, fusion magics.
Mage Hand is just writing all this down in the little notebook in his own little language.
The itch in the back of my head gets deeper. Someone's copying my life's work. I'm very upset.
It's not copying. It's just
you're straight up stealing my life's work and writing it down.
It is just taking close notes.
You're stealing what Calamex stole.
You're stealing my stolen work, man.
It's not stealing if I'm stealing it back. What about that? What about
You're
that?
not stealing anything back because you don't know who I stole it from.
Exactly.
So it's my work. It's my life's work. I stole it fair and square.
I don't know that. This could have been the goblins' works. Maybe they'd left it on the ship. I don't know.
I'm gonna kill him.
Holy
I didn't touch anything.
Y'all are extreme.
I am going to make sure, though, I do put I do put what I found back to where exactly I found it for everything that I go through. But I'm going to kind of quickly go through anything that seems magical or of like major importance, making sure not to break anything and putting everything as it was.
Yeah, I would say you could clearly kind of see the telltale signs that somebody's already begun to kind of sort, organize, and kind of try to make sense of all this material. You can see that the written material has been collated and organized, and there's a steady story being told here. You even find some of the dragon diagrams and how the attachments could be adhered to a dragon, and there's kind of notations and markings about the discussion. You even come across unfamiliar writing that looks recently written well, it would probably, knowing Calamex would be in Draconic. You can see recently either penciled or penned in margin writings of notes that are in Draconic. So if you can speak Draconic, you can read it.
Nope. I cannot.
So somebody's already spent a great deal of effort of organizing this, and it's enough for you to kind of glean that, okay, there is clearly something about this equipment, something to do with dragons, which from your perspective is kind of bizarre, because everybody who's from the other side knows that no dragons have made it to this side, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. However, there was the conversation of the baby dragon that you remember having back in Stanton that had disembarked from the vessel, as well as signs of a dragon on the horizon that may have been involved in the attack on Stanton. You're not really sure, but this is strange. This is opening up new possibilities for you.
Interesting. Well, Brash,
10 minutes.
I'd say we're coming up on 10 minutes. No response from the network yet.
Well, Brash, if you would like to explore more, you're, I suppose, more than welcome. But please do make sure you do not break anything. I do believe that some of these items and paperwork and documents in here are rather important to our hosts on this ship.
Wait, he broke into my closet that I have locked?
You don't know this?
I just thought about it though, because I keep all that information locked in the closet.
Some of it you do, some of it you don't. Some of the information you're still pouring through and trying to organize is in the storage compartment area, because there's just so much of it with the equipment. As you've been doing research towards the organic material and the understanding of augmented organics, whenever you came across specific documents or notes, you've kind of kept that locked up in your medical bay. So he's not kind of going through your findings as much as going through the stuff that you haven't quite sorted out yet.
Does he know? Is he there?
No,
He's
but
trying to play with the
it's Enigma.
controls.
You got to give him a little bit of meta.
I do not take any of it. I just want to point that out. I do not take any of the items or any documents. I just kind of write
Oh,
down.
I would definitely take
I'm
half of
not-
this shit for sure.
At the end of the
I was
day,
tempted, but they are our host. I think stealing from the person that just helped us get out of that situation would not exactly benefit me in the slightest.
I mean, at
Fair
the end
enough.
of the day, I still do dragon tendencies. Like I don't have a horde in per se. I have
Correct.
a horde of knowledge.
But I would say your horde knowledge would be more attached to your medical bay than the storage compartment. Because the only thing that was really of any interest to you at the time of the storage compartment was when the baby dragon was using it as a place to sleep and kind of reside when he was on the ship. But now that he's no
I
longer on
miss
the ship.
that baby dragon, by the way.
Well, of course you do. There's something like talking to a baby dragon that sounds like they're 150 years old.
This is adorable.
Well,
Calamax, you feel the dirigible buffet a little bit. Seems the wind speed. You look down at the dashboard, McKellen points, and you can see that the wind speed from the southwest is picked up. You're now getting into some gustier winds.
So did the whole ship just like shift there?
Yeah, everybody felt the...
Fresh like braces herself and like looks at the boxes and looks at em and says, I don't know what any of this shit is. I'm just looking for a snack. I haven't eaten since a train.
Would you be interested in some caviar?
Oh God.
Where did she come from?
Come
She was
on, you-
upstairs with us.
behind us, what?
Evidently, Kiki Lee is everywhere.
I'm roaming around. I'm roaming around the whole time.
That's true, because she's waiting for the network to download
I'm
the
waiting.
instruction
Yeah,
manual.
I'm just like
Yeah.
pacing.
I'll say at some
He's
point
just
you pace
eavesdropping
by
on
Brash,
everybody
just
else's
as you hear
conversation.
Brash. Yeah, just as you hear Brash mention she's hungry, and you do know that the dining portion of the dirigible is in between both the medical bay and the tail end of the storage compartment. It's a 300 square foot section of the dirigible that serves as both kitchen, eating area. There's a small kind of like restroom and shower facility kind of attached off to it. It's almost kind of like a general use room.
Yeah, I just want to give her some food because she's hungry, and I'm just standing around waiting right now. So
Okay.
I'm literally
I don't know what that is, but I'll
Try
take
it.
it.
You hand her a small. You watch as Kiki kind of hands you a very small tin can filled with like black, tiny little eggs, and it smells like fish.
fish eggs.
Is it where she could like just scoop it, like in her?
If
with
you
her,
like,
with her
if you
claws?
like fish, you'll like fish eggs.
She kind of like tries to scoop it out of the can with her hand and just kind of like in
Give me
her
a
mouth.
sleight of hand check.
It's gonna be like
Oh
crab.
no!
It's gonna be like crab.
Calamax, give me a sleight of hand check as you now have to kind of practice some of your new navigational skills.
It's like playing a
12.
video game for the first time.
Well,
You
12.
said, can I guide myself?
Sure. As long as you're wearing your glasses, I'm assuming that you're guiding yourself.
Okay, so my glasses have been on the whole time, so
Right. Brash, as you scoop the eggs out, like 90% of them fall through your fingers onto the floor. You get
Fingers.
maybe a 2-finger scoop, or, well, tabaxi
Huh.
fingers, whatever they're called.
Well,
And you manage to slurp some of the, it tastes amazing. Salty, but kind of
Like the
savory
sea.
at the same time. It tastes actually pretty good.
as soon as the other part falls on the floor, she just, oh, and then just eats. She just starts like licking it off of her hand. She's just like, oh.
Calamax, what'd you get?
26.
26. You kind of slightly undercorrect, and then kind of you change it to match the altimeter and the wind speed so that as you shift the ship, suddenly you don't feel the winds buffeting as much. You get the feeling that following these gauges and dials while steering and managing the pedals, it requires your full attention. But you're getting a pretty good handle on it at this point.
Brash just kind of like
Um,
bent squats on the floor and like scooping it back in the can.
I like I look over my shoulder and see McAllen. Where are we going?
He said,
So I'm looking at the compass and I'm looking at the coordinates that we were giving of 4922-1 and trying to discern to the best of my ability where that is in regards to our current location.
Yeah, you've pretty much narrowed it down to Hayward, which would be, you've been traveling for a bit now. So now it's about roughly 70 miles to your southwest.
Okay, so I give them new coordinates to head southwest.
That's
I
not,
try and
coordinates are great, but it's not really an answer, my friend. I don't know where we're going.
I'm not done yet. We have approximately 70 miles to go based on my calculations, and based on our speed, I should be able to figure out approximate time of when we'll be in the vicinity.
Okay.
What is
you have not answered the question. Where are we going?
I'm doing math, friend.
As one in endeavors of math and the sciences, I understand. But a location is still a location, my friend.
that's,
so I say to
that's one of my
Calamex,
pet
I go,
peeves when
okay,
someone doesn't answer
look,
the question.
do you see this?
Come on.
This right here, and I point to the compass. And I say, this gives us our bearing of the direction we're traveling. So we need to travel southwest for approximately 70 miles. And with the current speed, or when we get up to speed, I should have a approximate time of when we'll be in the vicinity of Hayward.
Hayward. See, that's a
Yes.
location name.
That's
So-
all I asked.
So now, let's... I told you this at the beginning of the journey, friend.
You understand that I'm piloting
that felt like a
this
week
ship,
ago.
right? You understand that
Yes.
I'm piloting this ship. Like, this is very difficult and
Fair-
requires much
fair
of my
enough.
attention.
Fair enough. Do you trust that I am leading us in the right direction, at least?
Yeah, we've been,
Oh, I
we've
trust
been
you
traveling for a
implicitly. Do I
while.
trust the other
Implicitly,
people
not
on the ship?
explicitly.
Implicitly.
That's what I said, implicitly, but not explicitly.
No,
Every
I-
now and then you watch as Kiki wanders out of the hallway to correct you and then disappear back into the
Yeah, yeah.
hallway.
I'm literally pacing because I'm waiting for. So I'll go to there and then turn around and go back
She's just
To
all
where-
up in everybody's
to
business.
where Brash is and be like watching her eat the caviar and be like, "Aw, she likes it," and then turn around and go back over there and listening to the conversation and be like, okay, like if you're only implicitly, it's not explicitly, but okay, whatever. And then just go.
As I was saying, I trust you. I do not trust the other two that are on our ship, as they are wandering freely without either our supervision. And
Well,
Kiki is not one to understand what that truly means.
I don't think they can get very far if they try to steal anything or anything like that, given that we are currently
What'd you say about
thousands
me?
of feet in the
I
air.
heard my name.
Don't challenge me. I'll find a
I,
I
way.
think we'll be okay.
I look at you and I say, they may not get very far, but you forget that they can hide things on them person, and without real probable cause. I'm not the cop, so
I am.
are you?
I'm gonna be chilling in the
Adjacent.
dining hall, by the way, just
Are
kind of
you?
like chilling there.
Okay.
I'm
you
an
and Brash are
investigator, my
currently
friend.
You're
Doesn't
watching
mean you're
as
a cop.
Brash is like recovering the floor caviar as best as she can. There are metal cabinets and small refrigeration units that you can kind of pop open, and there's like meals and snacks and all sorts of kind of like pre-made food, either in tins or in plastic containers, designed for ease of access and simplicity. Liquids that look to be either a juice or some other kind of substance that can be drunk. Calamex, go ahead and give me a perception check really quick.
Perception.
Evidently, he keeps his perception over his shoulder.
Unnatural 20.
Okay. You feel the wind speed begin to pick up. About 5 to 6 miles to your northwest horizon, you begin to notice that the telltale signs of a storm are beginning to roll in.
Oh god.
Uh-oh.
You're
the winds
currently
do not like
traveling
me.
you're currently traveling at about 15 miles per hour, which
We're so
puts you
slow.
roughly
A granny
3 to
rolling down the
4
street.
hours
We're so
outside
slow.
of Hayward at this point.
How fast is this storm approaching?
Give me a
Faster
survival
than
check.
that. Storms travel way faster than that.
25.
As
How
you
do you roll
test
so
the
well?
directions and you test the lateral
Smart.
controls and try to gauge, you're getting the feeling that you should be in. By the time you get to Hayward, the storm will probably settle in the evening. It's a pretty sluggish and slow moving storm.
I will look at McAllen and say, it's probably better for you to hunker down. I don't know how fast that storm is coming, but hopefully we'll be in Hayward by the time it passes through us. But we are going to need to sit down.
Fair enough,
It's
my
a-
friend.
At this point, McAllen, you notice the throttle control has been at half speed.
And I look and I say, well, maybe this can help us along, and I just ease on the throttle a bit.
I thought he was
Just
just
a
going to
bit.
gun it.
No. I don't want to. Yeah, like, I don't want to like crash him. I want to ease him into getting used to it going faster.
This is the perfect way to just fuck with Galamex. Just throw the throttle.
Gotten back to me yet? I've just been like waiting and pacing back and forth and eavesdropping and interrupting conversations and still nothing.
Out of curiosity. is
So
the
at this point, McAllen and Calamex are doing their best to manage the dirigible. Brash and Memoris are enjoying a break in the kitchenette. Kiki, during your nervous pacing up and down, at some point you finally hear the bing of a finishing download, and the network kind of like speaks up quickly. Mistress, we have assimilated the information, and we have even reached out to our limited understanding to points of being able to collect information from a rather primitive planet, but there are areas that, using our physical scanners and our transparent satellite scanning ability, we've been able to identify this dirigible as a Victor 4-5. The Victor 4-5s came into existence roughly between the years of 1922 and 1937. During this time period, particularly, that the Victor class dirigibles saw many improvements, many enhancements. It wasn't until nearing the end period of their First World War that the Victor class ships and dirigibles were decommissioned in favor of new flying contraptions known as aeroplanes, jets, and other flying machines.
Okay, do you have any information that will help us fly this thing?
I have a maintenance dossier. I have a navigational dossier. I also have a operational manual dossier as well. I believe if you were to allow me a overnight activity of downloading this information directly into your central core, you should be able to be what we call a proficient or classified pilot for this particular vessel by the morning.
Sure, that's a little bit late, but we'll do it just in case.
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
Mistress,
fly
as
with
you have reminded us on numerous occasions, you do realize that the state of the human condition is quite primal and simplistic. If we were to download this much information, we would fry your central cortex, making you inert and issuing final protocols.
Never mind.
We call it redundancy, Mistress. You just never know.
It's okay. I'm used to disappointment by now. Thank you.
Noted. Recorded and timestamped. It's almost like you could hear the administrative side of the network getting ready to make its own argument at some point.
The network will remember this.
Those are my kind of people. They record everything.
They
Within-
do. Yeah, they're very meticulous. Way more than I anticipated. Just everything, every little detail recorded, timestamped, everything.
As
Like the communist
3-hour
government. Just kidding. I'm just
the
kidding.
3-hour journey is rather uneventful, with the
Ooh, you
occasional
can watch
increase
Lord of the
in-
Rings in that time.
or you could read
What's Lord
Token's
of the
first
Rings?
draft release.
What
I
is a
nibble on a Hershey's
movie?
chocolate
What are
bar.
we
That's
watching it
what
on?
I'm doing. Just nibbling on the Hershey's chocolate bar I carry around with me.
It's about a 3-hour journey to get to the outskirts of Hayward.
That's not bad. As long as we go lower, maybe we could fly under the storm. Yeah?
Well, Storm hasn't quite
thing is-
reached where you currently are.
I'm a floating being. Normally, I don't have a body. So, I think to my knowledge, you can fly under the storm and bypass the whole...
Or you could just fly above the storm and have
That's really, really high, though. I think it'll be faster to go under it.
not necessarily.
Depends on how high the storm is. At
So,
our
Calmex,
altitude.
while McAllen and Kiki Lee are arguing over the best navigational direction to take, you've already kind of come into the final kind of wind shear guidance down into a landing pattern within Hayward. You can actually see 2 stanchion points on the outskirts of Hayward. So obviously, dirigibles have landed here before, whether corporate in nature or department in nature, you're not really sure. But there are 2 dirigible stanchions about a half-mile in the fairgrounds area north of Hayward.
I will head there.
Okay.
I'll
ahead and
just
give
I'll
me-
lurch, like just to make them shut up. I'll just lurch it forward so we can go through, and I'll say, "Oh, sorry, coming in for a hard landing."
All of you begin to feel the dirigible tilt slightly up and then dramatically down. Everybody but Calamex, give me a deck save, please.
Ooh.
Does this count as something I can
Ooh,
see?
natural 20! Plus some other stuff. Plus
No,
4.
unfortunately, Brash, you cannot see this coming.
24, but natural 20 for
Okay.
me. And I have to
I was
look
leaning
back.
back in my chair when it happened or something.
I'll be back.
Like a kid in high school that would like lean their chair super far back and then just fall.
Oh, it's always the best.
So what'd you get, McAllen?
I got a 12.
Okay. Brash, what'd you get?
6.
6. Memoris, what'd you get?
19.
19. Memoris, you kind of feel the tilt coming and you hold on to the steel table because it is bolted to the floor. You kind of, oh, that's what that's for. And you hold on to the table just in time to watch Brash in her chair go flying right past you and like hit the wall on the other side. McAllen, you stumble into Calamex's shoulders, jamming him into the controls. Calamex, give me an athletics check really quick.
Oh,
Oh, that's
God.
easy.
You did this to yourself.
I'm fine.
We
It's
fly all the way over here to crash as we land.
24.
24. Yeah, you kind of steadying the weight of McAllen's inability to kind of like keep his footing. You
I have
kind
a
of hold
feeling he was
him
expecting
while you're holding him and keeping him from falling on top of you as you kind of continue to guide the ship lower and lower into the outskirts of Hayward. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand.
This one's not as good. 14.
14. Now give me an intelligence save.
Save?
Yep.
14 again.
14 again. You feel a wind shear strike the vessel. And you kind of overcorrect and bring it off to the right and then pivot it down really quick. Pushing McAllen back up off you, unfortunately distracted you just enough to feel the wind shear push you nose down for a moment. And you begin to pull up, realizing that you've undercorrected. The nose is now pointing straight down. The surface of the ground is beginning to come faster and closer. Go ahead and give me another sleight of hand.
Oh God. Natural 20.
Nice.
It occurs to you that you've never actually ever slammed on both pedals at the same time, and this kind of piques your interest. You press hard on both pedals at the same time, and then you throttle back and yoke back at the same time. Everything kind of just bottoms out as the nose of the dirigible immediately begins to rise, and you just feel the whole ship begin to settle, and then like just settle just maybe about 10 feet above the stanchion point. You then watch as about a half a dozen individuals begin to scurry out from small buildings, and they're throwing ropes up and over the stanchion connectors on the dirigible. You feel it kind of lock into place. You watch as one of the stanchion towers, a small metallic bridge, locks into the area of where you can disembark from the side of the dirigible. You're roughly about 15 feet up in the air.
I look at her, Callan, and go, well, that's how you fly.
No, that's how you almost fall and then not fall.
Brash is like clinging to whatever wall or floor she's on, just like.
I just say touche.
But she's never been in the air before. She's like, what is going on? I don't like it.
Come now, Brash. I believe we have landed.
I say we throw her out. See if she lands on her feet.
She might have 9 lives, we don't know.
I think I lost like 7 of them right there.
Twisted Tea. I will adjust my suit, vest, and look and good thing. I'm going to check on what supplies we actually have left.
Okay. Go ahead and give me investigation as you do that.
Oh.
The rest
That
of
was
you in the dirigible hear a slight knocking on the side panel of the dirigible door.
I forgot to say this earlier, but Brash would have spent the 3 hours trying to fix her clothes, because she's in civilian clothes, and they probably did not do well in the fight, so.
Fair enough.
Yeah. After settling down a bit, I can feel the dopamine hitting, and I'm just like, it's so good.
Should someone?
There's
get
a
that
familiar
door?
metal container you keep in your front pocket that you kind of rub for a moment, knowing that Random had given it to you.
Don't need you today.
Hello? Hello?
Huh?
Hello?
I open the door.
You open it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're expecting us,
Okay.
so.
You don't know.
There's
what
an
you have.
individual standing there. There's a bit of a stiff wind, kind of, we weren't expecting anyone to land in this stanchion for some time. Who are you?
What does this person look like?
They're wearing, like denim overalls with a black shirt underneath, high boots. He seems to be Terran. He kind of speaks with a strange kind of southwestern accent. I mean,
Okay.
we're really expecting y'all right today. Who are you? What are you
Sorry,
doing here?
we were just about to get caught in a storm and saw that you had the stanchions out, so we came in for a quick landing.
Yeah, that was some piloting, man. We didn't have the lights on. How did you manage that?
You don't have lights on? He just looks out.
Well, no, the storm's.
Sir.
Sorry,
Cheers, Gil.
there. I'm sorry. What's your name? What's your name, pilot?
My name is Mr. Metasteel.
Mr. Medestein.
Steel.
If you know proper landing procedure, which I'm assuming you do, because that was some excellent piloting. You do realize, of course, that when the lights are off, that means the stanchions are closed, right? You understood that. So clearly, it was an emergency landing, right?
Yes.
Yes. Emergency.
In that case, he reaches behind his back, pulls out a different clipboard, hands it to you, says, please sign here, sir. This will
course.
make sure that you're not fined and your pilot's license revoked.
Oh, of
that's
course,
so
of
nice.
course. I write in this clipboard, and I also leave $100 underneath the paperwork.
Oh, you're rich too, huh?
He
I'm talking to
he
the
gets
man.
the
Stop.
he retrieves the clipboard from you and I see we understand each other perfectly, sir. Is there any general maintenance needs that your ship requires, or are you feeling that this is something you prefer to handle on your own?
Maintenance.
I believe it's something we can handle on our own, but if you could have a mechanic meet us on the ship so we could speak maintenance terms. Our mechanic, unfortunately, fell ill recently, so we would like
Very
someone
sick.
who is more...
Not ill.
You watch as he nervously stands back and goes, "Not with the plague, sir."
Oh,
Certainly
no.
the plague.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, we recently had come out of lockdown some 6 months ago, so I'm glad to
No,
hear
no.
Too
that.
relevant.
He's recently ill with this...
Too real, man.
Too
he's,
real. Oh,
He's,
oh, God.
apparently, he's come down with tuberculosis.
Oh yeah, well that can happen. I mean, sometimes that's misdiagnosed as consumption. We get
And
that
he's
confused
gone.
here as well.
He jumped ship.
Oh,
We
you
left
threw him
him
off
in
the
New
airship.
Mexico.
No, he
No,
jumped
we
himself.
left him in New Mexico.
Oh, he
Yeah.
jumped off the airship. Oh, okay, I
Yes.
understand.
Yes.
Well, anyway,
He's just looking... Like, Calamex is just looking at you. What? Why? Why?
the
Because
stanchions
he's
are
not
closed.
here right now.
That just means he got off the ship. I already
He
explained that.
jumped, man.
Well, anyway.
I think
sure.
she's referring to the pirate term jumping ship. As in,
Oh, are you
he
guys
stayed
pirates
behind.
then? Is that
No.
what? Are you pirates?
Absolutely not.
No, I'm
are
just
not
a big
pirates.
fan
She might
of,
be.
of pirates.
She can't get enough.
See,
of
Member
those.
is like looking up at Kiki.
I'm just a big fan of
Member's
pirates.
just gonna kind of like try to make his way to this new fella, and he's gonna say, "Sir, where can one find a strong beverage in this fine city?"
Oh well, you could go to the Eagle's Eye. It's a fine bar in downtown, if that's where you want to go. There's also the Crook's Roost. There's even a little bar like in the hotel over there at the Hotel Hayward.
I love
Thank-
bars.
Thank you. I want to pull out a 20 and tuck it in one of his pockets, and then head
Oh
off
well,
to.
I
Oh
didn't
my God.
realize we had famous and rich people here today. Anyways,
Do you know how much
um,
money that is with the inflation rate? Like,
well, Pilot Medisteel, unfortunately the stanchions will be closed for the next 48 hours or until the storm leaves the general area. We're expecting heavy rain, thunder, lightning within the hour, sir.
I appreciate it. Are we able to then leave our dirigible here for the time being then?
Well, we will anchor it as best as we can. We obviously don't want it getting blown away and crashing into our fine town, so we'll do what we can, sir.
I
Real
appreciate
quick,
it. We will be
how
staying
close
on our
are we
dirigible
to our deadline?
2 days.
2 days.
So it's.
I mean, we're not far from it.
I know, but then flying and all that stuff in the storm, so we're gonna have to figure that one out.
We'll figure it out. By the way, that mechanic, would you be able to send one our way, please?
Well, certainly, if I understood for sure where you're going to be.
We'll be on the ship. We're just going to be discussing supplies and whatnot for now until we decide to head out. If anything, we'd probably go into your fine establishment, the tavern that you spoke of.
let's
Where
go.
I'm already
Go.
heading to.
Well, your fine elven friend there is already on his way. See, you can see his little pointy head walking down the stairs.
Little pointy head. Oh,
Little
so cute.
pointy.
We will follow him eventually.
That's my hair.
okay,
That's not my
understood.
head.
If he
You're
just-
not there to defend yourself, okay?
Oh, now Kiki's
You're
going
not
to
there to
defend that.
defend
Look at that.
if we are not here, we will be there, and we will have a drink for him as well.
Oh, well, certainly, sir. I will send, I will get my mechanic. He goes by the name of Mickey Reed. I'll send him over as soon as I can.
Appreciate you, sir. And I didn't catch your name.
My name is Stamden.
Stamden.
Stand-in. What a beautiful
You can
name.
call me Melville.
Melville. Well, Melville, you may call me Steele.
Mr. Steele,
Steve?
pleasure to meet you.
Steele?
Steve?
Like Steve-O?
Calamex just stops and looks at her and goes, she's having ear pops from the elevation change.
Yeah, well,
clearly.
you know, coming down from up
Steve
high.
is a very common name.
Coming, yeah. Well, can I talk to you for a moment, Mr. Steele, if you don't mind, privately?
Of course. He pulls himself to the side.
Look, I don't want to. You seem like a big fella that can take care of himself. I don't want you to worry none and all, but you are traveling with other siders. You know that, right? He has no idea that you are one. He just believes you to just be a big human from his perspective.
So he's just a racist.
Wow.
Is that a problem in this town?
It could be, sir. Not for me personally, or most of my friends and most of us that live in Hayward. There is a small community, however, that lives in the Roughneck Valley, not far from here. They're true believers, sir.
True believers. I've dealt with those individuals before.
Yeah, they're a nasty bunch. On occasion, they make their way into town for supplies. Just if you've dealt with them before, you'll know what they look like. Yeah.
Yes, sir. In your town, they wear anything different than the normal believers?
Oh, well, I mean, they tend to dress very simply. They do have a strange kind of like black and khaki coats that they often wear. And they do have the true believer tattoos on the back of their hands as well. That's pretty much standard for them. I think the uniform that they wear, or that jacket, is just kind of their, almost like their club or regional location, if that makes sense. Our sheriff's been trying his best to get them out of this part of the county, but it's been difficult, sir.
Well,
very difficult.
If you would like your sheriff to have that dealt with, these individuals would be more than happy.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, sir, but you know, sometimes leaving things, well, alone is just as good as getting rid of something, if you catch my drift.
I agree. It's
so we don't necessarily want to stir things up either.
Stirring the pot is not exactly what we want, but if they do happen to stir in our midst, that does not mean it won't be stirred back.
Well, that's good to hear, sir. It's good to hear. I noticed the elven fellow that got off, and I could see the big furbog you got with you. Personally, I'm a fan of the Othersiders. Their affinity with mechanics and industry and magic are just something to behold, sir. Unfortunately, we have some very narrow-minded people out here in the sticks, you know, but we try to do our best.
Of course. Most of these individuals have been very helpful for our government, as they are certified adventurers and bounty hunters for the government.
No, really?
Yes,
Which
sir.
government would that be, sir?
We are in America, right?
The US of A, hello.
No, question. Is Hayward in America, or is it in Texas?
It's in South.
Texas is America.
No.
It's in southeast. It's in southeast Mexico. You border
never
along the Texas border, and you're not that far from the Mexico border as well. Lincoln County and the Lincoln County Wars go way back.
I look at him and I say, of course, the U.S. government.
Yes, well, I wouldn't use that around here too much either, sir. I would just say, hey, I'm either from Texas or New Mexico, if you catch my meaning.
Well, Albuquerque is a fine place to call home.
You are a very bright pilot, sir. Well, I wish you and your friends good luck. Be cautious. If you run into them true believers, Sheriff Harmon can be found near the center of town. You can have him deal with them. He's got some deputies with him. We're not a big town. We're a bit of a sleepy town, but, you know, we do our best.
Understand it. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a wonderful night as I just shake his hand.
Steel. And he shakes your hand and kind of looks and starts barking orders at some of the stanchion holders and people that are anchoring things down. And you can see that the crew grounds and the fairgrounds are kind of really busy with people moving and shifting about. The wind kind of buffets everything a little bit. All of you feel the dirigible shake and rattle a bit, but then you hear, kind of get locked down into the stanchion as more ropes and cables are being used to kind of latch it into place.
I will walk over to our great individual of McAllen and the rest of the group and say, we might have an issue here.
What's the issue?
Talk to
Racism.
me. Oh.
You guys are aware of the true believers,
Non-humans?
correct? I'm not sure this
But
is something that's very common for you, Miss Lee, but the true
Against
believers.
Asians?
Would I have
It's
had
other
an
side.
interaction with them in the past?
Brash, you have had encounters in small towns and small communities that you've purposely avoided during your hobo and train riding days. You've only ever treated them as something to avoid and not anything much more than that.
Yes, I don't know much about them. Just bad. Don't.
They are a very, how do you say, active racist group.
Should we just try to fit in, or are they racist against non-humanoid looking people?
It'd be more non-humanoid looking people.
Brash is
I would be
definitely
more
very
fine,
fluffy.
but the
Great.
problem is, me and you would be fine, Miss Lee, but
Right,
our
because I am
fellow,
a humanoid form.
yes, but our friends Brash, McAllen, and now Memoris, who has walked away, is not as safe. So
Well, we need to go and retrieve Memoris.
you're correct, but first,
Let's run.
First, hold on. First things first. Brash, are you armed at all?
Brash has javelin
Cat arms.
strapped to her back and a scimitar and very long claws.
That's pretty. Yes, her
Very-
natural body is armed.
okay.
Hello.
Rah.
So I'm
Her
gonna
natural
say,
body.
well, our contact with the agency told us to come to this area. Let me get a hold of them.
Well,
Obviously,
Brash-
we need to retrieve our new friend M. You two, looking the most inconspicuous, should go about that. And I
Well,
will
first-
contact
First things
our
first.
friends.
Let's get her armed with something better than just spears and a sword.
Well, I'm going to suggest that myself and our new friend Brash here stay put for the time being, as we don't want to attract any unwanted attention.
Of course.
I'll
but,
call the
Wait,
agency
wait a second.
you see about M.
Okay, so Calamex and I both have invisible.
invisibility.
We can make Brash and Memoris invisible. And
That leaves
McKellen, you're
Cal-
a furbuff,
invisible.
so you too.
that leaves 3, and we don't have enough.
Do you have
And also,
greater
I would-
invisibility?
Okay, well, Brash can pretend to be Cat. I don't know.
Miss Lee, let's just go. First things first. Let's get Brash armed so that if anything may happen to the ship or McAllen while
Okay.
we are away, she's properly armed and ready for a
Okay.
defensible
Good
position.
point. Brash, do you
I'm already
mind
armed.
staying on the ship? Just staying?
Okay.
Calamax looks at you, Brash, and goes, "That's cute. You may be armed for the old world, but not for the new."
I think Brash might
It makes
think
you
being
a
called
very
cute is a-
sour face at you. Just
Brash, it's okay. It's okay. Don't mind.
I look at
Don't call her cute. I called her that a lot, and she didn't like it.
I look
You're
at
the one
Brash.
who's calling her that.
Don't do
I look
it.
at Brash and I whisper to her, "Look, I haven't really much needed much more beyond these two," and I hold up my fists, like, "You're all right."
Brash kind of like.
I
to
think
Matt holds
though
up her
for
claws. Just
yeah,
this has worked so far.
I walk her
You
down
hear,
to the armory.
McKellen,
We just
you,
want to
you,
be sure you're safe.
McKellen, you watch as Calamex makes his way towards the armory. Brash seems to be kind of following Calamex a bit. Kiki's just kind of standing there waiting. Memoris, you're down the stanchion tower and you're now making your way in towards Hayward at this point. McAllen, there's a voice that pops into your head. Well, oh boy, if we're going to be here for, well, any greater amount of time, then our plan requires our intervention. Are we under the impression that maybe our intervention here somehow stops what's going to happen at the lodge? Is that why we're here?
Well, we're here because of the fact that we have 2 new, shall I say, friends with us. And as for now...
Yes, I understand. I suspect there will be great candidates for their ceremony of the Descendant. I'm sure the Unity Council will see this as an emergency requirement. I understand. But I'm speaking more terms, dear boy, in regards to solving this mystery. We have 2 days, do we not?
Part of the problem is I don't fully trust these 2 until we have them fully vetted. To be fair. As far as solving this mystery...
that's going to require time, don't you think?
I have a feeling that our friends with the Unity Council, being as thorough as they are, will probably have some information on these 2. They seem like they've been around a bit, have gotten themselves into some type of troubles. I'm sure there'll be some type of file.
Oh, very well, very well. I do recommend, dear boy, that you get your friends together at some point and we hash out the plan.
Fair enough, my friend. That sounds like a solid plan. Let me obviously get a hold of our contacts and get the proceedings over with so that we can move on with our investigation, of course.
Aren't we chasing Memoris right now?
Guys are not quite yet, but soon.
So, Kalnex, you're looking through the armory for something for potentially Brash to review and potentially take from you. Kiki, you are waiting around for McAllen and the others to wrap up whatever they're doing. Memoris, you've been walking for the better part of 15 to 20 minutes near the outskirts of the fairgrounds. You wander to the very fringe of the, almost to the point where you can begin walking into Hayward proper.
Can I interject? I would like to chase after him. I don't trust that he's okay on his own. So I think I would be on full pursuit.
Okay, so you decide to go ahead and leave and try to catch up with Memoris at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. Memoris, as you get to the very edge of Hayward, you begin to realize you're coming up on some very kind of like sleepy residential communities. They're very simplistic housing, but on large size yards. The roadways are gravel at first and then begin to kind of turn into pavement. And you hear somebody calling your name from behind.
Look to see who it is.
You turn, you can see Kiki is now sprinting towards you.
Memoris! Hi! Hi! Hello!
Hello.
I don't think it's good that you're too far away from the team. Usually when that happens, people die. So I'm going
You watch
to
as
be here.
you watch as a kind of like just a housewife kind of picks up her child and walks out of the yard into the house as Kiki is yelling that.
Fair enough. Kiki, I believe I should be fine. I'm simply going to get something to drink and refill my own supplies.
Which is dangerous.
You should probably explain the situation.
He kind of looks around like I see no danger here.
You don't know that people here are super racist against non-humanoid creatures like yourself. Like, there won't be racist against me. I'm Chinese, but I'm human. Human. Anyways, you are not. So they see me and you, they see you, and he's like, oh, she's human, he's not. And then they'll throw rocks at you and stuff like that. You know, we did. Remember when we landed, the military-looking guy came over to talk to us after you ran away because you were trying to find a drink. He told us people here are very racist. So you need to be careful.
I have had no such encounters during the time I've
Yeah,
walked with
because you're
you.
wandering around at night, but
Is
I
it
mean-
nighttime?
is it night?
I would say it's late afternoon, about to become
'Cause you're-
early evening.
Because you're wandering around at late afternoon. So I think you should just be careful. But I'll be here in case you back up. I'll just follow you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm your bodyguard. Okay. Let's go.
So the two of you are continuing into Hayward.
Gonna go to that tavern.
Calmex, what did I say the name of the maintenance guy was? Which name did I use? Was that
Mickey?
the Mickey
something.
one? Okay, thank you. Mickey Schmidt. Okay, yeah. My OneNote's been a little bit unreliable lately, so I've been writing down what I use and then adding it later. So, Kiki, you are currently with Memoris, correct? And
Yes.
the two of you are continuing to head into Hayward. Calamex,
Yeah,
Brash, and
I'm just
McAllen, you're
following
still
him.
back on the dirigible. Calamex, you and Brash are in the armory. What are you two doing?
Brash is just waiting for you to do whatever you wanted to get, whatever you wanted to get.
Calamex.
He didn't think this one through.
I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. My headphones cut out. I had no idea what just said. What was just said?
That's okay. You
guys,
weren't
you
there,
and Brash
so-
are in the armory.
Yes. I look at Brash and I see her wide eye.
Her wide-eyed sour face.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just scowling at you because you told
She's
her.
not scowling anymore. It's more like a fine. What are we doing?
Well, we're
I'm
grabbing
a
weapons.
teenager.
She's not happy. with
And
it.
as you walk into the this is the smallest compartment in the ship. It's a small armory, but lined up on one wall are a series of different gauge shotguns. There's a series of rifles. There are handguns. There are maybe 2 or 3 light machine guns, 2 heavy machine guns. There are many crates and metal containers filled with rounds of ammunition. The crates are filled with either full clips or empty clips. There's bandoliers of rounds hanging off pegs. And there's also other weapons here. There's axes and swords and picks and other things that could be used as fighting implements. Two-handed
Throwing
weapons.
knives.
The
Throwing knives are in here as well. Yep.
my eyes start to glow as I get to cast detect magic on any of these.
None of them appear to be magical.
Good try.
With one exception, there's always a slight hint of magic in the heavy and light machine guns, almost as if the components that they're made of are probably augmented because these probably came from the weapon development labs of the Unity Council.
Okay. I will grab one of those and give it to her.
Okay.
Say,
Okay.
you don't need much more than what you have, but this might help in more dangerous situations.
We've been in quite a few.
Brash just kind of looks at it like it's a dirty diaper and is like, what?
Diaper.
I look at Brash and I say, Brash, this is the modern world that they live in. Unless you want to die from a bullet, you better take a bullet.
I know that.
So if I'm trying to keep, if you want to stay here, you need to keep the people that are around alive. And this is one of the ways you will do it.
She starts like trying to actually hold it properly, and is kind of like half-ass like.
I show
Figuring to
her how
figure it
to.
out.
I show her how to properly load and hold it, and where to keep extra ammo. And I tell her, you do not have to use this. Use this as a last resort. You understand?
She's still moping. She just nods. That's all you get.
The light machine gun is, well, it's in your hands, Brash. It's relatively light. It's not that heavy. You're strong enough to deal with it. It's a bit clumsy. Probably would make a really good club considering you've never actually shot one of these things before.
That's
you
what
hold
she's
it.
mainly looking at. How hard
Yeah.
can I hit somebody with this?
You look incredibly awkward holding it, and it's, and meanwhile, Calamix spends about 5 or 10 minutes trying his best to show you how this thing works. Calamix, give me a performance check really quick.
Natural 18.
Okay. Modifier?
I got nothing.
Fair enough. He's doing a pretty good job of showing you the slide bar, where the chamber, where you can eject around in case it gets jammed. He shows you where the clip can slam into the integrated compartment below the main kind of like metallic housing of the weapon. And he describes how you can hit things at pretty far range if you have to. But, you kind of take it for what it's worth that he says, use it as a last resort only if you need it.
I have to figure out how to add that to my cheat. Or at least record what it does later.
I will go back up and find McCallum and go, where'd Kiki go?
Well, I believe she went running after our new friend. I believe that you should probably pursue them as well.
I agree. As I will start to head down towards...
As the three of you get off the stanchion ramp and make your way down towards the beginnings of the fairgrounds,
Oh, are we going?
Calamix, you hear
No,
someone
we're
in the
not
background.
Okay. I was like,
Calamix, you hear, Mr. Steele! Mr. Steele, I forgot to mention something.
I stop and turn around.
You see the
Yes.
familiar stanchion pilot and the one that you met earlier. And he comes over and says, Miss Steele, sorry about that. I forgot to also mention, we are a no firearm town as well. If you have any, you'll have to check them in with the sheriff. It's one of his ways of making sure that the true believers don't show up with anything too lethal.
I think you should be worried about the other people.
I've got a pistol, but no one knows that.
I look at him and I say, I'll make sure that my group turns in anything that is necessary.
Is this like
good.
alternate universe Texas?
No, this is in New Mexico.
Okay, whatever.
forgetting what state we're in every 2 minutes.
New Mexico. Okay.
And I will turn around because my pistol is hidden, correct? In my
Yeah, it's in your your holster underneath your armpit, underneath your jacket.
I'll say if I'll make sure that anything that is considered a firearm will be turned in.
Yeah, just make sure you're not caught with one. You know what I mean?
I smile at it and I say, magic works better.
Oh, I wasn't aware that Terrans were able to study magic.
It's actually a newly learned practice for most.
Give me a deception check.
Natural 20.
Oh, what
You
the
can't
fuck?
go-
Why do you roll so well? Holy shit.
Throwing hard rocks today.
Well, okay. I'll have to check into that. I've always wondered how they do all that. But, all right, well, you take care, Miss Steele.
Of course.
Calamix, master of bullshittery.
He is now proficient in bullshittery.
I've definitely been a liar for a long time.
This is true. Working for Al Capone will do that to you.
Yeah, sure.
So, Calamix, you begin to make your way into Hayward proper as well. Memorous and Kiki, you are now passing through the quiet neighborhoods and more into a kind of smallish, medium density kind of downtown area. You can see Hotel Hayward, a 3-story building off to your right. Not new, not old, just kind of a very simple, plain structure. Right next to it, you can see the Eagle's Eye Bar. And then littered all about the many different streets here are lots of small shops. There's a General Grocers, there is a pharmacist, there's a Woolworths, there's, you could see a tack and feed store for all the local farmers and everything. And you can see that this has a kind of small to medium town size vibe. There are people kind of walking about, all dressed in very simple 1920s attire, either overalls or jeans and very simple kind of blue denim work shirts. Most of the people that you see walking about don't seem to be carrying any kind of weapons or any kind of armament. The other thing that you begin to notice, Memoris, quite specifically, is the lack of any other siders here. This all seems to be mostly populated by Terrans. And every now and then you see looks kind of in your direction.
In my direction?
Nothing new.
Memoris and me are there. You're not there.
I suppose it would kind of be nothing new for him.
I'm going
These
to
small, secluded towns can be like that sometimes.
Yeah. I would first would like to make my way to the pharmacy.
Okay.
Kiki, I do not know if you would like to go with me or not, or
Yeah,
if you would like to go to the bar.
The reason I'm here is to go with you so you have backup in case any racist attacks you, so I'm here.
Okay. That is, I suppose, fair.
Calamex, as you finally make it into the outskirts of town, you watch as Kiki Lee and Memoris both walk into the front door of the pharmacy on Main Street. With that, Memoris and Kiki, the two of you making your way through the doorway, and the pharmacies in small towns are kind of multi-purpose businesses. You can see a cafe bar along one wall. You can see where a couple of people kind of stare at the two of you as you come in and go back to drinking and eating their early meals at the bar. There are all manner of like just various kind of knickknacks and minor either goods or product or very simplistic in terms of inventory. You can see a second tiered open loft that seems to be arranged mostly with all the pharmaceutical needs. Whether you're having something filled via prescription or you're simply buying things over the counter. There are a smattering of otherworldly products here that you kind of recognize as well. And oddly enough, behind the counter of the pharmacy, you can see a individual with heavy feathered plumage. Their wings are tightly fastened to their back and shoulder. Their beak, kind of quite pronounced. Very kind of, very like yellowish golden eyes and a plumage of feather coming down and hanging down their back. Wearing, of all things, coveralls, but no undershirt of any kind. Not wearing any boots as far as you can tell. You can see their clawed feet. As the Aarakocra kind of stares at the two of you, but stares at you for a moment, Memoris, as if kind of recognizing something about you, and goes, "How can I help you two?"
I'm gonna just add in something. Anyone that stares at both of us, I'm gonna try to catch their eye and just give the biggest smile. Because in my experience, that has worked. Like, if someone's staring at you, you smile, and then they'll think like, oh, okay, not a threat. And then they'll smile back, usually.
Currently, no
So
one's
I'm just
really
like
saying
smiling.
that much. Most people, when they see you smile, they cower in fear.
I don't think that would be realistic. But okay.
Are you trying to insert realism into my fantasy world? Into our
Yes.
fantasy world?
Yes, you
Oh, okay,
smile at people.
gotcha.
People smile back, man.
I was wondering if you had any sort of pain medication and antibiotics that would be over the counter, not requiring a prescription.
Are to contain some of the items that you require. I He looks around. I do not have some of those things, but I have, and he brings up his kind of like feathery hand and touches his nose. I do have some of the magics from the other world.
I suppose that would do. Yes.
And he kind of brings up like a small little leather box and opens it. Shows you 4 lesser potions of heal.
How much for each of these? If you do not mind me asking.
I can do $100 a piece.
Do you not have this?
What about $80, and I buy you a nice cappuccino from the cafe?
Oh,
And I kind of like nod over to
free.
Are you sure you're not Asian?
Go ahead and give me a persuasion roll.
I am amazing at these. Oh, that's cocked.
I'm
24.
gonna whisper to you.
24?
Oh, that's really good.
I have a plus 10.
I can do.
Oh, damn! Oh, yeah, Bard. Bards.
I could do
okay.
80 a piece. $320 for the lot.
I'll just take 2 of them. Will suffice.
Pull-
No.
two of the glass
We'll take
vials.
the lot. I'll add in an extra.
Oh, well.
I suppose luck then.
Pushes
Yeah.
the small
No, we'll
box
take
in
it
your
all.
direction. He reaches under and begins to pull out around 10. He pulls out some gauze bandages and a couple of containers of different kind of herbs and salves. He pulls out enough equipment for you to be able to, if you have some downtime, you could probably assemble at least 3 lesser med packs. I say $20 for the lot.
That should suffice.
He kind of pushes it over in brown wrapped and puts it in a bag and pushes the paper bag in your direction.
I will pay for my portion, and I would assume Kiki will also pay for hers.
Oh. What brings you and your friend to Hayward? There's not many other worlders here.
I can tell that. We simply come to stop because of the storm that is brewing.
That was your dirigible that I saw landing in the fairgrounds.
Yes.
Oh,
Good,
Oh,
sir.
fast.
What is your name? And did you come from the old world as well?
I am from the other world. My name is Avaxis.
Varxis.
I reside in the Mesa Valley with the people known as the Apache.
Oh, the Native Americans.
I find them more accommodating than the Terrans.
Apache are also Terrans, but they are also discriminated against.
They do not seem to enjoy the town of Hayward. They said at some point in their history they lived on this land.
So,
They
do
were
you do business here
forced.
for the money?
It is a way for me to raise funds for my friends and family. The only time I don't come in for work is when those wretched true believers appear from time to time.
When was the last time they visited this town? If you do not mind me asking.
About, I would like to, a week ago. So be sure to avoid them. Even though you don't quite look other, you have the markings of other, and they might decide that is enough. Us Arakoka have no choice but to avoid them.
one should not be afraid to be themselves. And for those that would bring shame to those that simply are what they are,
I couldn't agree more.
Well, of Vark 6, could you tell us where your home is? So if we ever want to visit outside of Hayward, where would we be able to
Mesa
find you?
Verde Plateau Reservation is just north of here, about 45 miles.
Can I walk in at this point?
Yeah, at this point you can walk in and pick up on the
I-
conversation that's going on.
I walk up behind Memories, and I say, the same type of racism that is due here is the same type that our world had for each other when it comes to those who are not the high races, such as humans and elves of before. Remember?
Oh, Calamax, hey!
I said that very quietly in his ear.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, I'm
Cool.
right next to him, so like.
They're
no.
most impressive. Can I help you find anything that you require, sir? The Aarakocra kind of leans away from the size that is Calamex.
I scratch. Aarakocra.
His name is Vark 6.
I know. Calamex's own issues with Aarakocra.
Oh, you're racist too. Oh, it's
No.
okay. I didn't know. I didn't know.
There's a difference. There's a difference between being racist and what Calamex is.
You're
Calamex-
racist. It's okay. Everybody's kind of racist. It's okay.
Kiki, if you don't know
The
people's
look on
background,
McAllen's face right now.
I suggest you.
Oh my god, Jason,
He's
I'm
so
sorry.
dying.
Make it stop. Make it stop. It's
I'm
5
just
feet
like,
away
okay,
from me. Make
well,
it
he's
stop.
been very nice, and you're like, okay, like,
He hasn't
Sorry.
said anything to the man yet.
could
At
I
all.
try to like back away and just like head out of the pharmacy as they're having this conversation?
no,
Sure.
you can't.
Because
Because I'm
he
gonna
has
hold
like
your
he has
hand.
like he has things he would
I'm
like
gonna hold
to
your
do
hand
and
and
then come back
face
to the
it.
ship.
I grab him by his collar as you're walking.
Yeah, and I will also grasp his hand and be like, you have
Could
to
I
stay
try
here
to
for it.
avoid this?
As
Parents trying to stop their kid
uncomfortable-
from running away.
Give me
As uncomfortable you are, you have to stay here.
everybody give me dex checks with your dex modifier. Give me a
What the
d20.
fuck is he gonna? Oh, that's not that good. That's not very good. Okay, 14.
21.
Okay.
Got a flat 18.
Yeah, you guys both reach to try to grab Memoris, and there's a brief moment, just a very brief moment, that he phases out.
Oh,
And
come
as he
on.
phases out, you watch as he appears at the doorway and just quickly slips out the
Damn
front
it!
door.
You know what?
Slippery toddler moment.
Calamex just, he says this out loud. You know what? If he dies, I'm okay with it.
No, Calamex, you can't say that about our new friend.
He stops and looks at you and says, I'm okay with you die too. You don't listen.
That guy's me. That guy right there. That's me.
That's really mean. And if I had feelings,
See, Memoris knows the risks of going out there by himself, and like
if I had
he
feelings,
can handle it.
I'd be really
He can
sad
handle
right now. I don't say
I
that.
love it.
I will say that I don't say that. That's in my head. I will say, you know what, Calamex? After all we've been through, I thought that I meant a little bit more than someone who could just die to you. And then I'll run away and like sob. I'll be crying and run away. He wants me to die. Oh. And then I'll run after Memoris because I'm worried about him. 'Cause
Yeah, and the network
doesn't know what's
terminates
going
the network as soon as you make it out the door. The network goes, sadness protocols terminated, mistress. You may continue on, and the tears immediately just stop. And
You know, I wonder if she realizes that I know she's not human.
I know that. I just don't know if you know the extent about emotions and all that. Like, I
But
don't
you
know.
just told me you don't have emotions. So he's just like, he's putting two and two together. He's just like, so she's a robot. She's a
Do robots
very-
exist yet?
Warforged exist in my world. And they were robots made by magic.
Dragons made robots? Like, come on.
No, they were robots made by magic. I didn't say dragons made them. Also, I work on automatons and humans exclusively.
But even from Kiki Lee's perspective, antiquated and prehistoric compared to the technology that she has access to. Memoris, you managed to slip out while Calamex and Kiki are engaged in a heated conversation. What would you like to do? Where are you going?
I'm looking for more of the non-perishable foods. I am running a little bit low on those.
Earthquake hit.
There,
Got it.
there's a Grocer's and a Woolsworth, not more than maybe 5 feet from where you're currently at, like literally right across the street on the other side.
Just looking for things that'll last a little bit normal, a little bit
Kiki,
longer than
as
normal.
you come stumbling out of the pharmacist, you watch as Memoris makes an entrance into the Grocer's. Calamex, you're left
I'm
behind.
gonna run after him because I want to make
Okay.
sure he's okay.
Okay. Calamex, what are you doing with your time? You're inside the pharmacy still. People are definitely gawking at what just transpired.
Because
They're
you
like
just
drinking their
made you just
coffee
made
and
this
kinda
guy
looking
and
and-
a little girl cry.
I don't care.
Very...
Not something he cares about at all.
Everyone's judging you, dude.
Okay.
don't
The
think he
Aarakocra would
cares.
see directly in his eyes. His eyes switch from being human to being draconic real quick. And as he twitches with anger, and then switches back.
There's quite literally no response from the Aarakocra.
Aarakocra, I apologize. I do not know your name.
My name is Averex.
Averix. I heard you have the city has an issue with the, what are they called?
True believers, they are called.
When's the last time they were in town?
About a week ago, they come in once a month for food and supplies for their compound.
Any other reason they would come to the town?
Oh. Not that I am aware of.
He just looks at you and goes, "You're the only other worlder in town?"
In town, yes. My family and others like me reside in the very Valley Plateau with the Apache. We take care of each other, look out for each other.
Interesting. You're medicine man in the Apache village. I believe he's backdated with some. He kind of goes into his bag and switches up, like brings up some medical stuff. I believe he's 5 years behind on medicine of natural worth. He switches it out and says, "Give them this."
It takes it for what? It is this.
It shows like natural supplements that can be made out of herbs, as well as very mundane ways of curing diseases that are very commonly spread through rural and native people and reservations. As I've been to different places and stuff like that.
I have suffered greatly from the plague. Will this help with that?
This will help with some of the other issues that would cause the plague to come there. If you have issues with the plague specifically, I would have to come there myself. And
Perhaps you and your friends, if you have time, could visit Standing Fist. Would greatly appreciate it, as well as my chieftain, known as
Prython and Standing Fist. I believe I visited a neighboring native people close to the Apache called the Blackfoot, I believe.
We
few years-
have communications with them.
Yes, I came there a few years ago and cured a few diseases in their village, as well as gave them some medicines. I can give you the same type of medicines, as well as some of the paperwork that I've already given you, as such as the plague has spread. How far has it spread? Do you know how many people have it?
There are at least 3 or 4 dozen that are ill.
And have they been quarantined away from everyone else?
Procedures have been followed.
Good. I will say, I believe in this region, he brings out a vial. This isn't a cure, but it is a sort of vaccine that will help stop the spread of the disease, but it will not help those people who already have caught it. A small dose.
Can we replicate this?
I believe I have the paperwork right here. He switches out here. That should be able to. You should be able to making. I've put some extra herbs on there that could be supplemented for what I normally use, that you would all have.
Perhaps when you get a chance, you could visit a local community known as Sutton. Sutton is 5 miles south of Hayward. It's been declared a plague town.
Sutton? We've heard of that already, right?
No.
No, the place Sutton. I believe
The place Sutton? No. This is a very small farming community about 5 miles south of Hayward. Wouldn't even appear on a map.
Okay.
5 miles south, that's not far at all.
They were declared a plague town some 6 months ago. Me and some of my friends deliver food to the outskirts to keep them alive. They are not allowed to make physical contact.
Are you wearing proper protective gear when you go out?
We do not make physical contact. With
It doesn't
anything,
matter. The plague can be spread through contact with anything they touch.
We do not collect anything from them. They are required to burn their debris and trash. We merely drop off.
Good. I believe you know some of my colleagues. Then, if you've been instructed on the proper details, as he looks, he'll say his doctorate and all that, and what he does on there in the front, like top left of all the medical documentation. And he says, anyone who's been any doctors who've been helping at all, or no?
He looks at you and looks around and he kind of leans in close. There was a doctor some time ago that arrived here. I did not catch his name, but rumor had that he came in from Mexico City.
A doctor that came in from Mexico?
Yes.
And
Evidently,
did he stay?
he specialized in airborne illnesses and disease.
Do I know anybody from Mexico that does that?
I mean, you do recall something about a doctor being assassinated in Mexico City recently.
Which is, oh man, I have his name. It's Yoden. Dr. Waters?
I don't know his name, but
Dark-skinned man, kind of about this tall, a bit older, a bit white in the face.
Yes, he was here 2 weeks ago.
He was here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Who was the last one to see him?
I believe Sheriff Harmon. Harmon
Interesting.
escorted him to the outskirts of Sutton.
Interesting. I lean in and I say, do not mention that to anyone. Dr. Waters has been assassinated and was pronounced dead a week ago.
How long ago?
A week
was
ago.
he?
It was a week ago, right? That we got told? A week ago.
Yeah, about a week ago is what you were told.
Yes, a week ago he was found dead in Mexico.
That is unfortunate. His knowledge, great. His understanding of the plague, even greater.
I know. I worked with him for many years. Many years together. I will see if I have time to come to your village and maybe even spend time to go to Sutton, but I would like to speak to the sheriff first.
Very well, Rick. And good luck. You watch as he kind of turns back to restocking shelves. It's strange to watch someone fly and hover at 5 feet, restock very tall shelves, and kind of land with simple ease as you kind of step out of the front of the drugstore.
Can I message McAllen?
Yeah, absolutely.
McAllen,
Yes.
we might have more here than we think. Remember Dr. Waters, the doctor I told you I worked with before? He was the one that worked at the plague that I told you was found dead about a week ago.
I have some recollection of this, yes.
Apparently he was here 2 weeks ago.
Interesting.
And he was in the town of Sutton, which has been considered a plague town, before he died a week ago. And he was escorted by the sheriff here.
Is there any reason why he would choose to do this?
He was an expert on the plague, period. So, if he was an expert on the plague, he would definitely go to a place that has been considered a recently plagued town. But why would
McAllen,
he be...
give me a history check now that Calamex has mentioned Sutton.
Man, just rolling sevens all day.
Oh no!
That's a
That's not
10.
Oh
A 10.
no!
While the name sounds familiar, it doesn't bring any information immediately to mind, but you've heard of the name before.
Why do I know that name?
All I know is that it's a strange occurrence, and for us to be here a week after he was killed, and what he was dealing with, it's too much of a coincidence for everything that we're investigating.
Do you know if by chance he was working with the agency or the Unity Council?
Have I ever seen him with a Unity Council insignia?
Give me a history check.
I'm good at that. Can I guide myself?
Mm-hmm. Go for it. You're wearing your glasses.
That's great. 24.
24. Somebody send me those weighted dice. I want them.
Yeah,
I
They're
know,
great.
dude.
it's that
Fucking great.
advantage. It's those goggles, man.
There, about a year ago, when Dr. Waters had contacted you in regards to a particular study that he was doing on some organic material that was retrieved, that's where it kind of dawns on you The organic material was retrieved from a town called Sutton. He just never really mentioned the state, so it never really occurred to you. He did also present in his arm, as he was explaining the organic material that was collected, he was carrying a black box dossier.
Black box dossier. The town of Sutton. He was researching the plague in the town of Sutton with a black box. Aren't you associated with the black box, McCallum?
I believe the black box is the agency as we know it.
It's one of them. There's red box, black box, white box.
Part of the agency as we know it.
He was definitely working with the agency. Maybe he is the reason that they knew of me in the first place.
So we have somebody who was working with the agency, died a week ago, in a town of Sutton, which sounds familiar, but it just is not coming to me.
Did I just tell him about the thing with Sutton?
Yeah, you can if you want.
I'll tell you, yeah. If that jogs your memory for anything.
Give me a history check with advantage this time, McCallum. See if...
Oh no! Drop the dice.
Oh, that's much better. That's a 19.
Oh, that's really good.
19. Look, he's just so funny. With this recollection information that's been retrieved from Calamex, it suddenly dawns on you the reason why you've completely forgotten it is because Sutton, the town of Sutton in the state of Mexico within Lincoln County, was declared under a purge file. As far as you're concerned, that town doesn't exist anymore.
Interesting.
Are you going to tell me
It's coming back to me that this town was pretty much wiped off the map.
What are you talking about there? Croker just said he supplies them at least once a week.
Yes, but as far as our government is concerned, this town doesn't exist anymore.
Who told you to come tell us to come here?
Well, I called the black box, of course, to get in contact with our friends at the Unity to discuss our new friends.
Why wouldn't you just call the Unity? We have direct access to it.
Well, unfortunately, Miss Brown is not always available.
That doesn't mean that the Unity isn't always available.
But under my understanding previously, the Unity and the agency were working hand in hand. But this information you're delivering to me right now draws some definite suspicion.
From what we've explained to each other, it doesn't sound like the Unity is working with them, but we're supplying secondhand information to them about the Unity.
Well, I would definitely suggest that you and our other companions get back here as soon as possible, and we'll have to have a meeting with the Unity Council and Miss Brown on what may be a very precarious situation.
I will cut connection and run for wherever Kiki and Memoris is.
Okay, fair enough. Memoris and Kiki, you've been inside the Woolworth now for a good 15-20 minutes. Memoris, you've collected a good amount of canned goods, small tins, preserved goods in either small glass jars. as you typically do when you travel. Kiki, you're kind of perplexed by this because there's an entire kitchenette full of these things that Memoris is now buying, which either he's doing this out of habit or maybe this is his safety blanket. You're not really sure.
I will tell him though. I'm very blunt, so I will be like, you're buying extra of what we already have, right?
I know. I saw the dining hall.
Okay, you just want to be very safe because you're paranoid. Is that it?
If that's what you want to call it, sure.
Okay, well, la-dee-dee, la-dee-da. You said you wanted to find a pub to drink.
I said I wanted to get supplies.
You said something else before, but okay. I'm here to follow you. I'm just here to... If you get attacked...
Well, my, but you are simply buying so much stuff. Give me a moment while I add it up for you.
See, this is what I mean. These weirdo pervs, they like hit on you and stuff.
I will then walk
The
in.
person looks at you.
Memories even turns to her like, what is wrong with you? Like, he doesn't say it, but like he's like.
She reaches over, pulls one of the products, and rings it up. And your friend you're a very kind man to be taking care of your simple friend. And kind of begins to package and ring up, puts everything into a paper bag.
Luckily for you, I don't have any sense of pride.
Kind of moves the paper bag over to you, Memoris. There'll be $4.22, please.
Thank you very much. Now, hand over the money necessary.
If you don't have enough money, I can make
you
some
as well, ma'am.
in my hand.
He grabs it and gives you she takes it and gives you the change. Y'all have a lovely day now, you hear?
You as well.
You too, pervert!
Well, I don't see how being nice is perversion.
She is, how should we say, socially awkward, or does not get a lot of the interaction, I suppose is what you could say. But
I'm sorry. I'm from China. I don't know how things work.
What?
What's your passive perception, Kiki?
Oh my gosh, let's see. 13.
13. What's yours, Memories?
18.
Oh, holy moly, Bart.
Both of you notice Calamix kind of quickly enter into the store. Calamix, you quickly approach both Memoris and Kiki. Calamix, what's your passive?
Hi, Calamix!
17.
17. Memoris and Calamix, as the two of you watch as Memoris picks up the paper bag and the female behind the counter kind of says, well, I'm sorry to see you go. Both Calamix and Memoris notice tattoos on the top of either one of her hands.
She's a female! I thought she was a male. I'm sorry.
What voice did you think he was doing?
Those
Thank you, Itaki. Thank you.
You know what? I'm still getting used to differentiating between the two sexes here. They're very similar.
I just want to make sure,
similar.
because I imagine he has had encounters with these sorts of people. Would he also have seen that symbol? Is that something that's common, or is that more specific to certain areas?
Both you and Calamix are very much aware that true believers often put pyramid tattoos on the top of their hands with an
She's
inverted
a true believer.
with an inverted God's eye, and then the
Illuminati confirmed.
The cross, the Holy Cross, kind of behind all of that, with a kind of emblazoned series of tattoos crawling down their fingers to signify the hand of God.
I will look at.
Get your Kiki under control.
I come in.
I'm so tempted to do something right now, and it's god.
I come in and I look. I kind of make my humanness kind of like scoffing at these two. Man, are these two bothering you?
Oh no, they were just purchasing some items and they were going to be on their way. Why? Is there something
I'll turn
wrong?
at Calamix and be a little bit petty.
No,
and
of
be
course
like,
not. Nothing wrong. Just the way she seemed to be talking to you seemed a bit disrespectful.
No, I think her young friend here said that she was an idiot.
Ah,
Not those particular words.
I apologize to the young lady.
And I was
didn't-
complimenting the young man on the fact that he takes such kindness to those that aren't quite as, right in their head.
Of course. I apologize for jumping to conclusions, my niece. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Oh, my name is Brenda Lynn.
I apologize
Brenda
for
Lee.
jumping to conclusions, Miss Lee.
Brenda Lee. Like
I
Robert
literally,
Lee?
I literally turn to them and I go, I think you two should be leaving now. Don't you two think?
Yes,
I was,
sir.
but,
And I'll just hook
I
him
was,
in the
but
arm
you're kind
and
of
run.
blocking the
And
exit.
no, I'm gonna hook him in the arm and run, and I'm gonna look at you, Calamex, and be like, and then I'll take memories, and be like, you shush, and I'll like put my hand on his mouth and just run out.
I turn around and go, and he kind of he looks a little bit upset, and he kind of tries to make that like look of upset that like otherworlders are here. You know what I mean? Like how he's seen other people say it.
Give me a deception check.
Oh
It's a
no.
natural 20.
Oh my god, what the
Jeez.
fuck,
That's the
dude?
third one.
How are you
Loaded
rolling all these
dice.
natural 20s?
Those loaded dice.
That's awesome.
That is the third one tonight.
Awesome. What the
It's
fuck?
to make up for my shitty rolls.
Hey, Weave the Tail, thanks for the raid. Much appreciated. She just holds up a hand so that the tattoo clearly is visible to you. And she goes, may the hand of God be with you, good sir.
May Jesus Christ be with you as well.
No, don't make the Christians the bad guys. Don't do it.
I myself am going to head to the last destination, which would be the tavern, because I always save the best for last.
I send a message to
Okay,
Memoris
guy.
and say, you guys need to leave now.
We are
And
leaving. We already
Calmex,
left,
have you
bro.
left the
Bro,
Calmex,
we
have
already
you left?
left.
I would say
Have you
that
left?
as I was
Have you-
leaving.
Are you, so I'll say as Kiki and Memoris are leaving, Memoris, you hear the magical send, that arcanic sense in your mind of Calmex giving you a warning and telling you we need to leave for the
Right.
stanchion and the dirigible. Calmex, where are you at this point? Have you left yet?
I've turned around and like faced away from her, and I'm watching them leave like hard.
Okay.
As I said,
Uh,
Jesus Christ be with you. I turned around and I just watched them leave. Like I
Yeah,
crossed my
as-
arms. I made the incantation as I was crossing my arms and
We're
going like
leaving.
this.
We're
I'm just
leaving. Just,
staring
I
at
grabbed
them.
his arm. I'm leaving.
You watch as Brenda has already gone behind one of the panels of the counter behind her.
Oh shit.
And you hear the telltale sounds of a phone being dialed.
No!
So-
Can you stop
No,
her?
there's a
Let's
trouble.
do this. Let's do this. Let's do
Stop
this.
her.
So I want to ask,
Stop her.
during all of this stuff going on.
Am I getting attacked by meta pigeons? Is that what's going on?
What?
What? Whoa, what are you talking about right now?
Brash is the only one that's like being a little rough and like, I really want to jump in. I can see it on her face, but she's like,
Oh,
She's
let's
not
go.
involved.
Crash is back
Yeah,
from the ship.
but with the
I know,
information
I
I know, I want to observe, is there anybody around this stanchion right now who's like kind of paying attention to what's going on?
give me a perception check.
As he's doing that, I'll hear the phone going off, and I will walk up behind this woman, and I'll break her neck.
Oh, jeez.
Give me a perception check, as there's no obvious way to get over there other than leaping over the counter.
God damn, that's
Perception?
just brutal.
Again,
You know, you could just
You
talk
don't-
her
you don't need to
down and
defend
be
yourself.
like, you know, I'm
you
gonna
don't need
take
to
care of
defend yourself.
this.
Or you can
Uh,
flirt with her.
You
can,
could
grab
just
her
be
hand.
like, I'm a big strong man, I'll take
Yeah,
care
no,
of
no, no, no.
this.
Grab her hand and flirt with her.
16. No.
You're not a bard. He's not a bard.
And you're not exactly
Memories would
alone
do
either.
that.
I'm not alone?
Why do you
No,
assume?
there are
That's
other
the
people
door.
inside.
Oh, I
It's a
didn't
store.
know that. I thought there was
Yeah,
just
it's a
us.
Woolworth.
My
No,
bad. I
it's a
thought there
Woolworth.
was just us two. I apologize.
Everybody else.
I apologize. I'm going to change my whole thing because I thought it was just us two in the store.
Oh, right. Break the woman's neck in front of everyone.
See, I was about to do something like evil, like go back to my cartel days, like working for Al Capone, like the shit that I know. It's like, God, I got to stop her talking. Just
Oh,
nuts.
man.
You're
That's
gonna
where he
give
was
us
about to
so
go.
many more problems. We've had it
no.
happen.
No,
We
that's not
need
more
context.
problems. I'll just wait for her to come back around because I
After
realize
she
that there's
calls
other
the
people around. I can't stop that.
No, you could hop it and go in and be like, oh, hey,
There's
Carl.
other people here.
As per message, I can send back something, so I'm going to send back to Calumet.
Fuck these meta pigeons, man.
You
They're
don't know
everywhere.
this.
I'm going to
Too
send back
bad. You're
after
running away.
only one more quick shot.
So let's resolve McAllen's perception check. So McAllen, as you're up on the navigator's platform within the dirigible, kind of keeping an eye out and like looking at the open paneling that's around you, what'd you get?
So I rolled a natural 20. So that brings it up to 28.
28.
Damn.
As you once again fixated on the navigational controls and still taking some time, you kind of glance up through the windows, and as you look, there is somebody way down at the bottom of one of the forward stanchions that is looking up, and as soon as you look down, they look away and disappear behind the stanchion.
Okay. So what I want to do is I'll go over to Brash.
Brash is sitting on
And
the floor, probably behind you. She's like playing with her drum. She's been playing music the whole time.
Aw, so cute.
Purposely, probably to annoy you a little bit,
Aw,
but also
Okay,
just kind of like.
so I look at her and I say, look, I don't know you very well, but you seem to have joined our investigative team out of choice, out of necessity, I can't say. But right now, it seems like we're in quite a precarious situation. You and I are going to be needing to get this dirigible ready to go on a moment's notice. What I'm going to need you to do is come with me out onto the deck and get these ropes off very quietly and very discreetly. We need to be ready to go on a moment's notice once our friends get back.
You can
Brash
hear
is kind of
as
like
this
zoned out a little bit.
Yeah.
during that.
Yeah, Brash, as the two of you are having this conversation, you both equally hear the sound of lightning, thunder, and a bit of a rain-like spit kind of hitting the windows.
I thought that meant we can't leave.
Well, it's either that or quite possibly die. What would you prefer?
I don't know.
I just
Die
look
in
at
the
her
sky or
with,
die
like,
on the
the
ground. Which one
coldest-
is it?
Like the coldest, just meanest look, and I'm just like, I don't even have the highest per chance to live, and I know this is a situation that is not to be taken lightly.
I don't even
So
know
either
what's going
you
on.
help me get these lines off the ship so we're ready to go, or you can stay here.
Okay. And she's just gonna kind of pop up onto her feet and walk to the nearest one and start doing what she needs to do to get it to go away. Probably
So
not in the
as
most
you-
delicate of ways.
Yeah, you begin to realize the only ease of access to these lines is on the observation deck. So you quickly go up the series of stairs to take you up to the second level of the dirigible. From the observation deck, your passive would be high enough. You can see where the cables are coming down at like 20-foot intervals around the dirigible. They seem to be hooked into eyelets, and there seems to be a pulley system. Unfortunately, the only way to get to these is to climb out almost jungle gym style along the netting of the underside of the dirigible, which will have you about 30 feet up in the air, and then reach each one of these pulleys, yank them free. Meanwhile, you're now feeling the dirigible from the winds that are beginning to pick up. You're watching as a storm is beginning to roll in.
Brash is gonna just okay, and she's gonna try to flip herself over onto the other side to try to start doing that.
Give me athletics.
13.
13. At first, you manage to swing out about 10 feet under the heavy chain netting of the dirigible. You begin to reach out for the first cable that has a pulley to release the latch. Go ahead and give me a strength check. The wind buffets you again.
That's a 10.
Okay.
Oh man!
You start
No,
yanking
sorry,
on
that was a 9, not a 6. That's a 13.
Oh, 13.
I can't read my dice.
There's a metal kind of clanging sound as it releases, and you feel this part of the dirigible just kind of... McAllen, you feel the dirigible lift up from a wind shear as the whole dirigible shifts, as it's not quite being held tight anymore. Brash, you turn and start swinging towards the next one. You're now 15, 20 feet away from the edge of the observation deck. You're 30 feet up in the air, and you're leaning towards the next cable as you're jungle jimmying across over to where you could get it and pull it. Go ahead and give me another athletics as you're kind of making your way over there.
During this time, I want to use the information I gleaned as far as the controls to very lightly try and make adjustments to help keep the dirigible steady.
Okay, give me sleight of hand as you begin to manipulate the throttle.
I got a 10.
Okay.
That's also a 10.
You misalign the prop system, and suddenly, as Brash, as you try to pivot and make your way over to the next cable, both your hands come free of the mesh netting. You're now free falling 30 feet towards the ground.
Use your feet.
Oh, you're
As you're free falling, you're now passing right by the first tier of the dirigible. McAllen, you can hear somebody just like
It's
go
like a,
right by
cat yell.
the glass and
There's nothing for her to
just
try to catch herself on.
there's nothing around you. It's like you're just free falling and poof, hit the ground for 31 points of falling damage.
Oh god. 31? That hurt a lot.
And you're now down poof, on the ground. You can feel bones snap out of place, and you feel your ankle kind of feel funny. You're looking up at the dirigible above you, and you're now covered with the beginnings of rain and mud kind of on your body, and you try to get up, and you're kind of stunned, and there's stars nearby, and off in the distance, you can see as it's getting darker, there's a series of headlights from vehicles coming in the general direction of where the stanchions are.
Okay.
Calamix, Kiki, and Memoris, what are you three doing at this point?
I would finish talking to the lady, getting like ration packs, whatever, and leaving.
Your microphone went way down.
You're
Getting
so
ration
quiet.
packs or whatever.
There it is.
And
Okay.
then leaving.
Okay.
It's something inconspicuous.
Fair enough.
I'm literally just following Memoris just in case he gets attacked.
I'm going to head back to the ship as well. From there.
Okay.
I only have one last stop, and that is simply the tavern.
Because you wanted to have a drink.
No one. All I'm going to say is no one has informed me of, like, all I've seen is that stamp. I have no idea that she called, and no one has informed me that they could be visiting. All I know is they visited last week, and there's one
I
that's
told
right there.
you in your head we need to.
No,
leave.
he sent you a message in your head.
Yes, but you did not say that she called. That we need to go.
Yeah, you actually just said we need to go.
Yeah, you just said we need to go. You didn't say like, oh, they're on their way. You just said we need to go. Like he's just like, okay.
Technicality.
He's
I'm
like,
gonna look
okay,
around.
okay. I just want to grab this real quick and we'll.
I want to imagine a Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner moment, where,
God.
or no, Dr. Bones and Leonard
Dr.
Nimoy moment,
Bones.
where Calmix looks over his shoulder and goes,
Damn
"Look,
it,
you
man, I'm
pointy-eared
just a
bastard." You green hobgoblin.
I
I'm
will
following
message
them.
again. Where are you two? It's time to go now.
All of you can now hear the storm begin to break.
I'll
I'm gonna sprint
if
towards.
I will go to Memoris and just like buddy arm him and be like, there's drinks on the ship. We need to leave. I have a feeling like I literally just ran out here to make sure that you were okay.
Now, for the message, how do you perceive we should go? There is a storm brewing. I don't think.
Let's just go back to the ship.
Based upon the actions.
Even if the storm is
Memoris,
brewing,
I don't need your access right now. Get back to the ship, or else you'll be left behind.
we can fly under the storm. Let's go. Let's go. There's drinks on the ship. You can drink on the ship. Let's go. Come on. Come on, Memoris.
I just sprint towards the ship at this point.
Okay.
If they get left behind, I know Kiki will come back. I don't care if Memoris comes back.
Fair enough.
Okay, asshole. But we will.
I know you. I just said I know you will come back. I don't care.
Okay, I still come calling you an asshole. But okay, I'm gonna
I
link
suppose
Memoris's
there
arm.
would be most likely other stops we can make.
And then I'm gonna run to the ship and be like,
We
let's go. You know, this town sucks. There's nothing here. We have better drinks on the ship. Okay, come on.
We do.
Better drinks. I've got champagne. I can give
I
you
do
that.
not like champagne.
Well, you suck then.
I'm imagining this is a great conversation.
You
A very
suck then.
frantic Calamix making his way back to the dirigible. Kiki, Lee, and Memoris in the rain, the thunder and storm kind of beginning to break, are arguing over the quality of champagne.
I'll give you
Fucking
Chambord,
love it.
okay? I'll give you fucking what is it called?
I will send a message to McAllen. McAllen, the storm is on us. We gotta be in the ship now.
I'm literally gonna like
I'm fully aware.
cross arms with Memoris and be like,
Memoris just kind of like he just pulls his hand out and just starts heading to the ship.
You're gonna have to grab
where
our
I'm
new
going.
tabaxi friend.
that's where
Yes,
I'm going.
I do not like to be strong armed.
Our tabaxi friend was trying to help, but
Okay,
unfortunately she took
Gaylord,
a fall.
Let's go.
Oh god, I gotta go look for her now.
I'm trying to keep the ship stable while all of you are heading back.
I'm gonna run back and look for our tabaxi friend specifically, as apparently
Yeah.
she's fallen off the ship.
It's now pouring rain at this point.
Oh,
Sheets
no.
of lightning are cracking across the exposed clouds.
Oh, so
Calamix, you
beautiful.
kind of hold up your arm as you get closer and closer to the stanchion, kind of peering into the darkness. You can see headlights off to your left, maybe a half a mile on the very edge of the fairgrounds, beginning to get a little bit closer. You watch as Memoris and Kiki are now running towards the stanchion ramp and platform that leads back up to the dirigible. There is a form that's getting up off the ground, very injured and stunned. You can see a very heavily mud-covered Brash about 100 feet off to your left.
I run directly
Just
towards
not
her.
okay.
You and Brash kind of meet in the middle.
I look at Brash. God, what happened to you?
The ship went like this, and I fell off.
Can you walk? Are you okay?
If her ankle's broken, she's like limping a little bit.
Her ankle
That's
is
a
definitely
no.
looking rough.
That is a no.
How far
Got
is
it.
it to
It's
to get
about
back on?
150 feet to the stanchion ramp, and it's about a 2-story climb up to the main connector ramp that will take you onto the dirigible.
And we've
Okay.
only had a short rest.
Yes.
McAllen, crack! You see a bullet hole in the window of the navigational panel. Crack! Calamex, you see little pinpricks of light coming from the convoy.
Damn it. I just cast a 2nd level Cure Wounds into you.
Okay.
Just going to
Kiki and Memoris, give me deck saves as you're now
10 points.
scrambling up the water-soaked ramp and making your way up towards the dirigible.
Ooh, that's
You
not
now are
bad.
watching as sparks of bullet ricochets are
19.
bouncing off the ramp.
19 as well.
Okay, you and Kiki dodging and moving as fast as you
Yeah,
can.
we're so fast.
Make your
Ooh.
way up to the edge of the ramp. You can look down and see where Calamax and Brash are kind of hobbling at first over, and then there's a flare of arcanic light. And now both Brash and Calamax are beginning to run towards
I look
the ramp.
at Brash and I grab her by the arm and I say, "Get on the turrets. Run.
Brash
Run."
kind of looks like for a second, I don't know what that is, and then she'll drop on all fours and then she's gonna feline agility, double her speed, just get up onto the ship.
I turn
Okay.
around with my LMG and just
All of you hear Calamex's light machine gun just go off. All the headlights go off in different directions. Sparks. They're definitely outside of your effective range, but they all disperse as soon as they see the rain of bullets just kind of come into them, and you watch as they kind of lose control. One of the headlights kind of like falls into a ravine. You realize there's at least 3 or 4 sets of other headlights now kind of trying to scramble back onto the main road and make their way in. You've definitely slowed them down. You look up in time to see Brash is making her way up the rain-soaked ramp, and more lightning and thunder kind of tear. Brash, give me a deck save with advantage. Kiki and Memoris, you stumble through the stanchion platform and into the dirigible just as another series of bullet rounds just kind of collide into the side of the dirigible.
So that
Kiki.
was a deck save, right?
Would Joe happen
Yep.
to
With
That's an
advantage
8.
because you are an 8. You get
I rolled
on
a
the
4 or
ramp
5.
and you're making no headway. You're doing your best to make it up the ramp, and you get to the top and just hold still, trying to claw, and you begin to slide backwards all the way down
No!
to the bottom of the ramp.
No!
Just in time for Calamex, you're kind of backing towards the stanchion ramp. You're just littering the field in front of you with round after round after round. You hear the bar click wide open as you run out of ammunition in that initial clip.
I look back
Can we help
and I go,
her?
"This isn't the time for playing sliding games. Get up the ramp!"
She
And I
just
I give guidance to her as I reload.
Okay, go ahead and give me another deck save, Brash, with advantage. You have a
When I was
D4, believe.
exploring, did I happen to see the armory?
You would have saw a locked door with a sign that said the armory.
I'm
Oh.
having a time. That's a 7.
She
With
is
the
struggling with this
You roll all
rain-soaked
ones?
ramp.
What?
That was a
Kiki, you're at the
1 and a
top of
3.
the ramp, and there's bullet rounds going off around you. You're watching as Brash just can't get her footing and can't make it up this rain-soaked ramp. Is there anything you want to do to help?
That.
Can I go over to her and kind of like give her a slap on the butt?
You kind of go over and you reach out to grab her. Brash, you watch as a bullet round strikes Kiki in the neck.
Oh
You
dear
watch
Lord, really?
As a funnel of blood just comes out the other side. Kiki, you take 41 points of piercing damage.
41? Okay, I'm down.
Can I try
You
to
watch as
grab
the
her? She
unconscious
slides-
form of Kiki just
Dear Lord, really?
slouches onto the ramp, and she is
41
now
is a lot.
sliding unconscious in your direction.
Yeah.
She's gonna rage and try to one claw into the wood and one claw into her clothing.
Give me athletics with
I'm
advantage.
down.
Please work, for fuck's sake. Oh, much better. That's gonna be. I'm doing math. Hold on. 22.
22. You grab onto her collar. By this point, Calamix is now halfway up the stairwell to lead to the main ramp leading up. Calamix, you watch as out in the distance. Yes, you did see that. Because you're watching Brash, and Brash grabs Kiki and throws her with one arm up and over onto the top of the ramp. And then takes her other arm and pulls herself all the way to the top of the ramp to gain access into the dirigible.
As she throws her, bonus action, pull my gun, and I fire a round at Kiki. It's a golden bullet that's healing word.
Oh, dear Lord,
go ahead and
that's
roll.
great.
Oh, she's unconscious. It's max.
Yeah, so you get whatever the max heal is. Kiki, you
max.
feel something arcane like power strike you in the chest as you're mid-air being tossed by Brash into the dirigible. Brash, you leap over the platform and over Kiki's body, who's suddenly back to being conscious.
17.
Kiki, you hear the network in your head. Purge protocol canceled. Welcome back.
17.
17.
You
You get 17 points back, Kiki.
Great. That's awesome. Okay.
Calamix, you watch as one of the trucks getting closer, a string of your light machine gun rounds crack across, and you watch as the truck just merely explodes, and a great plume of fire and debris going out in different directions. There's now rifle fire mixed with light machine gun fire all around where you're standing as you're making your way up the stairwell backwards towards the ramp.
Yeah.
Would I be able to grab?
Go ahead and give me a D20 and add your dex modifier, please.
That's a 15, just flat. I don't have anything.
Okay. It just explodes pretty short of where some of the headlights are, but it causes a bunch of the trucks to peel away. You're slowing them down quite incredibly. At this point, they have now stopped. You watch as shadowy figures are now jumping out of the back of trucks, and you can make out a couple individuals wearing the familiar khaki and black coats that you were warned about.
Can I, can I make those, like, my spirit guardians? Can I make them, like, kind of appear and make them all look like they're also firing guns?
Sure.
They're not actually there or actually causing anything. It just makes it look like my boys are also just out there.
Yeah.
They just
Fair
start
enough.
firing off.
Yeah, you do that, and they pulse out, and they're mimicking the illusion of firing, but they're just this kind of like safety barrier around you as you're gradually making your way up the stairwell, and now you are on the rain-soaked ramp, and the thunder and lightning crashing around you. McAllen, sparks. Brash, you're now inside the dirigible. Remember, as you watch as Kiki comes back to consciousness, and you watch as the horrible wound in her neck just closes, stitches closed, and her eyes flare open. Those of you on the dirigible, what are you doing?
Brash is gonna try to, as soon as she hits the ground, she's gonna look around for the nearest turret that she was told to get to.
You look, what's your passive again?
Passive perception, 13.
13, that would be enough. You can see that there's a hatch in the floor of the center of the hallway portion of the gangway within the dirigible. It looks like it can be undone and open. You rush over there and you quickly spin on the wheel, which is strangely easy enough to open. You flip open the lid, look down, and there's this massive ball turret that you've never really seen before. There's a seat on the interior of the cupola, and you can see hanging from underneath this ball turret these huge cannon-like guns. On either side, you can see this miasma-like energy kind of pulsing up and down on these wire-like cords, running back and forth between the ball turret and up into the underside of the dirigible. And you can watch. You're watching as the props are getting wound up. One of the cables is cracks against the ball turret, kind of cracking some of the glass, as the cable that you freed is now kind of wildly. You can see McAllen in the navigational chair throttling bullet ricochets going off. Calamix, you're coming up the ramp. Brash, what are you doing?
So that's like a place for me to go in to operate the turret. She's
Looks
gonna
like
look down and go, blah, and then jump in
Okay.
to try and then stare at it and try to figure out how the hell to do this.
Yeah, give me a perception check while you try to figure that out. Calamix, you're watching as McAllen is struggling. Kiki sits up kind of in the doorway of the stanchion connection and where the access to the dirigible is. Memoris is dragging her in and kind of trying to keep her from falling back outside again. You're making your way up the rain-soaked ramp. Give me a dex save really quick.
Oh no. 16.
16. You slip a bit, but you manage to hold yourself and unleash another barrage. Down into the crowd that's beginning to swarm towards the stanchion.
Am I in the
You're
third
now
floor?
crossing the threshold into the interior of the
Can I
dirigible.
pull another one
Okay.
and just let it roll down the ramp?
Sure.
All I'm doing, I just pull it and let it roll.
Yeah.
Okay, I also wanna radio Calimax. Be like, I need you
You
up
hear-
in controls now. I'll work on getting rid of these lines.
I can't. I was like, I literally can't. There's so many down there.
We need to do something. I can hold this ship semi-still, but
Remember, you can hear McAllen yelling for Calamix. Calamix is yelling back towards McAllen. Kiki's kind of stunned on the ground. All of you here, Brash, what'd you get for your perception?
11.
11? There's this giant series of handles in front of you with metal kind of like plates on the inside of the handle. You just kind of shrug your shoulders and all of you just hear this and as this heavy cannon starts firing these balls of electrical light down into the ground.
Shit.
It's
Bodies
accompanied by a
just-
panicked yowling because she did not know what that was gonna do.
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
Bodies just flying everywhere. You watch as one of the rounds hits the nose of the stanchion. There's a creaking metal noise. This tearing sound as the main stanchion that the dirigible is connected to is now gradually beginning to fall.
I don't like it.
Rush, just gonna keep hitting at anything that looks like it's a bad person.
Fair enough. You're just firing into the darkness. Ricocheted shots are pinging off the outside of the dirigible. Memoris, what are you doing with your time at this point? Calamix and McAllen are yelling back and forth. I'm controlling the airship. I'm keeping them from killing us.
Okay, so how far away are they, the remaining ones at least, from where I am as of right now?
Hard to tell. It's starting to get very dark with the storm rolling in. Hearing Calamix yell that there are dozens of them, it's hard to tell from your distance.
Okay. So, and right now Kiki is in like a safe position.
She's inside the dirigible with you.
Okay.
But she's conscious. She went unconscious briefly,
Okay.
but she's been brought back to consciousness.
Where was the armory? Was it on the same level or was it on the level below?
It's on the same level that you're in.
Okay,
It's just further down the back side of the dirigible.
Yeah. I'm gonna quickly head to that armory.
So you're running off
Yeah.
in that direction. Kiki, what are you doing with your time?
So if I'm barely conscious, I'm gonna be seeing where the enemy is. Is there any enemy within 60 feet of me?
Currently, no. That last grenade that Calamix had tossed down the ramp exploded, clearing the base of the stanchion ramp. There's nobody currently trying to come up the ramp. There are just a series of gunfire bursts of light as people now seem to be content at firing at long distance, trying to either destroy
At
the
the long
dirigible.
distance, how far is that long distance?
A couple hundred feet.
A couple hundred. Okay.
Yeah,
Would a firebolt at 120 feet reach them?
probably not.
Okay. Well, I guess.
The whole dirigible begins to shift and shake. You're watching as the stanchion is now beginning to collapse with the dirigible still attached to it.
Can I?
Oh, what a. Okay, so 120 feet would not hit them. You said.
Calamix, anything you want to do?
I want to run at that other line that's connected to the stanchion,
Okay.
and I'm going to use my dragon aspect to
Okay.
make my actual essence of the claw of the dragon and just sever the connection.
Okay. Severing the connection will leave you midair. Your only choice is to hold on to the line that's still connected to the dirigible. So you're going to have to do a couple rolls here. There's going to be an athletic check to see if you can sever the line. And then there's going to be a dex save to see if you can hold on to the severed line that's still connected to the dirigible. Because as soon as those wind shears hit, that dirigible is going to just take right off.
All right.
So go ahead and give me athletics as you leap out, your aspect dragon claw swinging out.
With the aspect of the dragon, I get a 30. That's a 22.
22. Severs the cable. It snaps. You see the frayed end of the cable begin to fly away from your shoulder. You go to reach out to grab it. Give me a dex save.
From the stance I'm at, right? I've just released the dirigible, right? And there's still people coming and chasing us.
Correct, but you're midair right now. You had to leap out to be able to do that.
I'm not going to be able to catch it. I have a
Give it a
0
try.
in dex.
You never know.
Oh no.
I didn't catch it.
What'd you get?
Take a wild guess at that one. It's been real good all day.
1.
A natural 1.
No.
You guys watch
Oh, damn
as, from your position, Brash, in the ball turret below the dirigible, you see as Calimex leaps out towards the cable, and this magical, dragon-like arm just extends out from his elbow and severs the cable. The cable goes back over his shoulder, and he attempts with his other hand to grab it, and he misses. He's now tumbling forward.
During this, I'm gonna cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay. You cast Pass Without a Trace. Memoris, you get to the armory, and suddenly you just feel the dirigible lift heavily. Brash, you're fastened in, but Kiki and Memoris, I need the two of you to make dex saves really quick. Calamix, you're now free falling about 35, 40 feet with nothing to cling on to. Brash, or Calamix, I need,
Not
well,
good.
first of
Okay,
all,
because
Memoris,
it-
what'd you get?
9.
23.
23. You
Dex
managed to
save.
hold on to the handle of the
Plus
armory and
10.
steady yourself.
Plus 10?
Kiki,
Yeah.
What, another 10?
So for the duration, each creature you
Yep.
choose within 30 feet of you has a plus 10 bonus to
God
dexterity.
damn. Okay, so
Yeah.
19.
19.
19.
At first, you feel yourself begin
39.
to slide
Thank you.
backwards as the dirigible lifts up, and you gotta reach out at the last minute. Suddenly, you're able to hold on to some metal portion of the ship. Calimex, I need you to make a charisma save, please. Also, you just incurred 2 madness dice.
Can I use them?
Ooh. Helmet?
have
Not
3.
yet. You already have 3?
Yeah.
Oh,
'Cause I had 1 last
yeah.
session, and I have 2 this session, so that's 3.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll 1 of those and incur 2. And then I'll need a charisma save.
Okay. So I rolled a 4 on the.
Oh, okay. Now give me a charisma save with disadvantage.
Oh no. Come on, man. That's not good.
My
I'm scared.
charisma. A 3.
A 3.
Fuck.
As
Fuck.
you feel yourself fall and fall
No!
and fall and fall and fall.
Helmet has wings.
You slam onto bare rock. You look at your small hands and the small child form of yourself, and you're wearing just
No.
simple breechcloth pants. You're looking around. This doesn't make sense. And you watch as a very old man comes walking over towards you, looks down at you and goes, "Well, we will see what we will make of you this time, Calimex." And he reaches his wide open hand towards you. And that's where we're going to finish tonight. We will
What the
pick that
fuck?
up next week.
What the fuck was that? It said like Mufasa and Simba, and he goes like, no,
Oh.
Rafiki. You know.
Oh no, we're going to be treading a little bit into Calamex's backstory next time.
Oh, here we go.
That
Anyway,
should be
Segue.
Lion
interesting.
King. Remember who you are.
Oh my god, that was awesome. I love escape encounters. They're so much fun. They are just so much fun. Especially when Brash rolls shitty until she finally gets into the machine gun turret and just clamps down on those handles. That was just fucking
She has
cool,
no idea
man.
what she's doing. Also, seeing
Hey guys,
How
after
it's
all
pulling
the
out, which is
near-death
like-
encounters, I've made all of you live, and I
Thank you.
finally
You
died.
are the god of death, okay? You're the god of life and death. Thank you so much. Honestly,
You're
yeah.
the god of life and death. I love
Yeah.
it.
We almost all died, and you're like, let me just, like, Frankenstein you up. And
That
we're
is
alive.
so funny. That is so
Oh my
funny.
Simba.
Hey, everybody, thanks for coming out. Why don't you linger with us for a moment? I actually have some of my favorite shows on right now. I thought we'd go do a quick raid before we say goodbye. But, hey, everything you need to know about us is down below. Join our Discord for the free giveaways. We will be back here tomorrow. We have a full table for the one-shot for the Monster Hunters Guild. If you're a member of our Discord, you can play live with us on Twitch. It's a very meta one-shot where you bring your level 10, your level 15, or your level 20 character to an unknown encounter. I do not know the character build. I just merely build the rules for what you can and can't do from a level perspective and equipment perspective. I build a custom homebrew encounter because it allows me an opportunity to test my encounter, but it also affords all of you the opportunity to test a character build. So if you've always wanted to do that, every other Thursday, we do one-shots, specifically designed to be somewhat meta, so we can share rules, share the way our characters are built, and experiment with different builds. It's a pretty fun, it's a fun time. You don't necessarily have to have a working camera, but, you know, an internet connection and a working microphone always help. So I think we are going to give RF Chaos, well, no, let's do TPK Roleplay. They're one of my favorites. I watch them on occasion. I have to watch them from the library sometimes because I don't always have enough time to watch everybody. So I watch, you know, their pre-recorded or previously recorded episodes to kind of catch up with what's going on. So everybody, thank you so much for coming out tonight. I really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and raid some friends. And before I start the raid, please hang out, earn some extra points. But as I always like to say, please be kind, please be safe, and don't forget to play a game. It's really important. It's lots of fun. It's good for your mental health. I promise you. Good night, everybody. Let's go raid some folks.
I couldn't wait.
I love you guys so much. It's so funny. All right, where did my thing go? Oh, there it is. Right now.
Good thing I asked for those madness dice on that natural one.
Oh god.
Good job.
Yeah, so you roll a lot of natural 20s, but I guess you roll some ones too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I just.
The problem is I roll natural ones at literally the worst times.
That's how it
I
goes,
just
isn't
rolled a
it?
lot of like 2 through 10.
I tend to roll a lot of like 1 through, or not 1, 11 through 15.
I
just
rolled a
have
lot
high
of
modifiers.
sevens tonight.
7s?
Seven.
That's just
Oh,
in
that'd be
general
good
for
for
you, though.
gambling, but not in
Hey,
not
hey, I
gambling.
usually roll like 3s and 4s. So,
How come I can't see anybody?
because he has it on the stream is ending.
Should we go on Discord?
Because he
Yeah, I
hasn't
was,
gone not live yet.
I'm trying to raid, but for some reason it's not I've noticed that raiding's been problematic again, so I'm trying to figure out why it is
Should we
not.
talk on Discord? Chat on Discord? Yeah? No? Yeah?
Switch to Discord.
See? No see?
So, I
I'm
finally
down.
finished with the last of the details for Brash's backstory,
BTL?
and she's hating every second of what's happening right now.
Oh no! Aww.
Yeah.
Well, do you want to go chat on the Discord?
You really want to go chat on Discord, don't you?
I do. I want to.
She's a very talkative person, I can tell.
I'm very talkative.
I like talking too. I don't have anywhere to go tomorrow, and I have to stay up until my brain wants to go to sleep.
I'm down. I gotta do laundry anyway.